BJ Nix, are you here?
Present.
Present. Spoonie, Timothy Spoonie.
Present, sir.
Margaret and Mary. Do we have a Margaret and Mary?
Yes. Cool. And the margaritas.
All right. Here, we're ready. Let's go.
Yes, let's go.
Okay.
This is the time to line up behind your team, to support your team. Have faith in that team.
You know, it's peaks and valleys. You know, it can't always be good. And as I always tell people, you're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are. But when we do know about
house call, Trayvon Diggs, pick 6. It's coming. They see it. Knocked away. Oh, Gregory! Hurts in trouble. 3 Cowboys wrap him up, make it 4. Micah Parsons is unblockable.
We've arrived.
Micah Parsons is unblockable. That's my favorite part.
We have arrived, ladies and gentlemen. Real quick, before the regular intro, I'm going to tell you right now, man, it's about to be fun. If y'all have not, if you've been under a rock in the past year and a half, and you have not tuned into any kind of time that we are with Jay Tucker is with us, it's not about a special guest. That's for the particulars on the social medias. The fam is in the building, and when the fam's in the building, these shows are always fire either way. So, special treat tonight as we're into season 4, episode 4. I'm turning 44. The show's tipping on 4 fours, if you will. We went and hijacked J Tug from parts unknown.
I'm back.
Living his best life.
Yeah,
I'm over here homeless.
You know, Dubai. I rode up on him. I jacked him off the camo and said, "Yo, bro, it's time. Yeah, it's Cowboys time.
Time to come back." Right.
What's going on, brother?
Good. What's going on, everybody, man? Yeah, I had a good time. I'm sunburned. I'm dark. Shouts out to my guy Steve. He was like, Tan Tuck is my nickname right now, so I'm kind of tan right now. But I had a great time being out of the country. But it's time to get back to work. It's time to get ready for camp. So let's do it.
Yeah. You know, and we talked about this last season again here now. Hey, guess what? It's the honeymoon season right now. Hey, look, everything Star Spangled great. You know, nobody can do no wrong. We're ready to rock. We ain't hating nothing. So it's a fun time. It's a fun time doing the content this stretch. And of course, as y'all know, we've been doing the roster breakdown series. Tonight, we're getting to the cornerbacks. We're going to dig in, pun fully intended here. We're going to dig in to these cornerbacks. But with that being said, I'm just going to be honest with y'all real quick. I don't know how much content we're going to get from Professor O tonight. I don't know. As him being an Atlanta Hawks fan, some things happen in this month. I don't know. We're going to try to keep the Cowboys, but it might be it might turn to a Hawk-centric cast tonight. What's going on, O?
Oh, just living my best life out here. So unlike the Cowboys, the Hawks, I was like, you have cap space. You have a role. You have an opportunity right here to make your team better. And Steve Koonin and Resler were like, I got you. Just sit back tight. I'm going to make a trade and get another all-star to put in the backcourt next to Trae Young. So we're good. Yeah. And the Hawks, funny enough, their ticket office gave me a call yesterday. They should have called me today because I would have been like, yes, front row, sign me up, let's go. But yesterday I was like, I don't know, man. We'll wait to see what moves they make, and we'll reevaluate.
We'll see. Yeah, save that business card. Yeah, it's nice, man, because Knicks is a Magic's fan, so they have the #1 pick. I'm a Mavericks fan, me and Mary, so we're making moves. Like, it's nice to have a team that's actually making moves in the all season.
It is.
Doing some
Nice.
things,
Our football team's not going to do it. At least our basketball team.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I want to give a quick shout out to Samuel Rowe. He said, I'm just here for Mary's blonde friends. Where are they at?
Hey,
that's
our guy
right.
Robert said
tuck it.
the Hawks didn't tuck it in.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's fun times. I kind of went through. I was let me peruse on Twitter a little bit, and I saw some of these Spurs fans not happy with what went down. But shout out to the Hawks and everything else. And look, Cole's cow. He's 18. He's 18.
Coles, we got to go to a Hawks game together this year. I know Coles is in Atlanta, so we're gonna have to go to a game together this season.
Yeah, that part. With that being said, I got Spoonie. Obviously, in case y'all don't know, every show on Wednesday, me and Spoonie, an hour and a half before we go live here on YouTube, man, we run the Twitter space, man, and we do the pre-show space, if you will. We had a good time over there, Spoonie. How you rocking today, my guy?
Oh, it was good. It was good. Good memory lane with the 49ers again.
No, Lord.
We might have look to protect people on this panel. We just said after the Eagles game, there might have been one or more people dancing on tables at Texas Live, but it wasn't me or Spoon.
I don't know.
And we'll leave it at that.
So basically,
Guilty. I object.
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
Just hanging out here with my guy Rowdy tonight, just doing the show.
Oh God.
He's feeding me. He's feeding me Cowboy storylines for you guys.
Okay, look, this is special here. This is special here because
he's got to go. He's got to go.
No. Leave him there. 1 second. You got to leave him there for a second because real quick. Let me hit this. Man, somebody clip this. Somebody screenshot this.
Oh, I gotta
if y'all know and y'all follow Professor O, y'all already.
It's like Rowdy about to slap him. It's like Rowdy about to slap him, man.
Oh, it's true. You're not wrong. O has led the nation in cancel Rowdy movement. Is what he's done. So if you don't know the history and everything,
peace out, Rowdy.
get him up out of there. Yeah, we gotta get him up out of there. And with that being said, now if y'all was here last week, Mary said, "Don't be jobless and don't be homeless." It's counterproductive. Well, Mary, in 1 week, you ain't jobless no more, right?
Yeah, I'm not.
You're moving up the ladder.
Anymore. Yeah. Now I'm overworked.
Overworked. But hey, you know what though? You got a job.
Right.
Started my
one step at a time. One step at a time.
Yeah.
Now look, I'll be honest with you.
They take you through like orientation, and then it's like, all right, get to work.
Yeah, already like millions of meetings. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
I gotta now. I'm about to test bed something real quick, just because these are set up for 4 players. I'm not sure how this is going to work with 5 of us. Oh, we good. We gooch. Shout out to producer Jay. Man. Line it up in the chat with fire emojis. Producer Jay. I was like, hey, we got 5. She goes, I think you're good. I was like, okay. You said I think we're good, and I had to throw it out here real quick and just see we're good. All right, so we got some things on the back end. Hey, look at us, man. New year, new us. Who this? We got layout. We got overlays and stuff. We got some producer. We're peeky out. Hold on, wait.
Again, visits from Rowdy, special guest appearances from Rowdy, Jay Tuck, had Vought stop by.
Yeah, man, you just never know, man.
We letting it hang, guys. We letting it hang.
If the team ain't gonna turn up, we gonna turn up.
Yes.
Yeah, we're letting it hang. Okay. Man, we are not even 10 minutes in, and here we are. We have arrived, if you will. New year, new things, the whole 9. But with that being said, I mean, we could do that all night long, and people might like that from us. But we know why they're here. We know they're for some Cowboys content, and let's kind of get into some of that real quick, guys. Let's get into a little bit of that, if you will. Let's go ahead and start out. As y'all know, every week we start out with our section, news and notes. And in the news and notes section, we had a nice conversation about, and we teased this, Spoonie. We kind of teased this before we got on in the space about what's going to happen tonight. In particular, the tight end position. And the idea of what he's making on the tag at 10.9, right? We're thinking 14 million. We saw where Njoku's at. If y'all was here for some of that kind of content that we did, I think it was episode 2 that we talked about, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all go check that out. But there's a nice little tidbit here on him next season that we need to kind of break down and look at long term. Oh,
yes. So a lot of Cowboys Nation, as soon as we slapped the tag on him, said, well, he's priced himself. Well, the Cowboys priced him out of a long-term deal. There's no way we're going to do it. We saw Njoku's contract since then, and the price just keeps elevating. The reality is the Cowboys, if he has a big season and we don't see enough from Sean McEwen or we don't see enough from Ferguson, we may franchise him a second time, because even with the 20% increase in this year's franchise tag, he'll still cost less than the top 5 tight ends in the league will. It's kind of interesting dilemma. So depending on how he does this year, now if he has a 700-yard year, which is pretty good production, but we see McEwen or Ferguson or Hendershot or somebody else step up, this is all moot. It's irrelevant. However, if he has a big year, like say 950 yards or something, and the Cowboys may say, we like what you're doing, but we don't want to commit long-term, they could just slap a second tag, run it back one more time, and then let him walk and give the young pups an extra year to develop. So it's kind of an interesting angle that a lot of people didn't think about right away, but now it's kind of coming to light, seeing the tight end market continuously increase. Maybe we look at that again next year and apply the tag depending on how he does.
Right. And I think the biggest thing in that is, right, is if they do that and tag him again, it's not going to cost them as much as doing the long-term deal and the kind of the parameters that we're looking at. So I'm going to spin it this way as we're kind of thinking about that. And look, obviously, NFL not for long, we don't know what the season is going to play out. But what we're bringing up here in the news and notes section is there's a work process here. There's some things that can happen here that would lead to a second kind of situation where they would tag him again, right? So how about percentages, J-Tuck? It seems the Cowboy way even, right?
It's the Cowboys way, and it seems dirty enough to the Cowboys would consider it. Now, Dalton Schultz, man, he might have to send out that "on my babies, I'm not playing" tweet if that's the case, because he gets franchise tagged twice. So I would probably give it a 10% chance, and the reason why I'm giving it 10% is because I can't think of anyone else next year that they could possibly use the tag on. I mean, you have Anthony Brown kind of in contract year. You have Terrence Steele, but I don't see anybody that they would consider using the tag on besides maybe Dalton Schultz again, but it would definitely be an ugly situation. So I'm going to give it about 10%.
Can they use it? Wait, isn't it going to be Trayvon's? It's third or fourth year?
It'll be his third year.
Okay.
So he'll have one more year left.
He'll have, okay,
Right.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
I give
yeah,
10%.
Right, 10%. Spoony, Cowboy way here, saying underneath the money if he has a good season, a kind of season that Matt Owen kind of put out here for Dalton Schultz, and they're like, that's cool, double tag. What you think?
I mean, it's like J-Tuck said, it is the Cowboy way, but I still feel that they're going to get him at the price that they want. I can't. I'm still rolling with that. I believe.
So you still think long-term deal before camp then?
Yes.
Before
it won't be 14 now.
You think before this camp?
No, for this camp, they're gonna get him in there. I think what's gonna happen is something like what Emmett said a while back. They're gonna put in some extra stuff in there. He can make his extra money like the way Jalen Smith did his, and he'll take a lighter deal.
Okay, all right, Mariella, you've been the queen. If you was like watching this for a long time about percentages, how do you feel about the idea that they can let him do this, come back, and tag him again?
I mean, I think that, he had a good year last year. 8 touchdowns, 800 yards.
Sounds like the boy Gibson.
I think I would be more confident in him getting a deal the way Spoonie said if Njoku wouldn't have signed that $14 million. But I think we already know. With guys that we consider cornerstone players, they take it to the wire and they get disrespectful, and it's all this kind of mess. So for a guy like for Dalton Schultz, a tight end, yeah, he had a pretty good season, but it's not somebody that's going to be that cornerstone. People aren't buying his jerseys. I don't see them rushing to get him paid right now. So
Gotcha.
I would say, yeah, I mean, it's a high possibility that they try to tag him again. If
What
I
kind of
was
percentage
him,
you going? What kind of percentage you going with? Give me that percentage, Mary. What do you think?
I think it's like a 35% chance they try to do it again.
Ooh,
But what if I was his agent?
35.
Like immediately after the season, I would be reaching out to them, and if they're not giving me any responses, I would just put them on the block list.
Well, I was gonna
Okay.
say the way that he treats Cowboys fans, I'm not gonna bat an eye out if they play dirty with Dalton Schultz. Like, whatever. That's what you
Yeah,
get.
like block.
Hey,
he does it anyway all the time. Block,
Yeah.
block.
I mean, here's my thing. I think y'all's percentages are hella low. I'm just being honest with you. It's Dalton, and back to your point, it's Dalton Schultz. Hey, how many times did D-Lock get tagged?
Right, twice.
How many times did Dag get tagged?
And those are players that we could consider cornerstone
Right.
guys. So that's my
Right.
point is,
Yeah,
you know.
if they got tagged twice, hey, look, I think it's 75% chance that Dalton Schultz gets tagged a second time. I mean, look, he can walk through the door. That's kosher. They can tag him cheaper than signing him long term, and it gives Ferguson and another draft. I think that's important too. It gives him another draft to add a piece.
Michael
And
Mayer.
then they can.
I was about to say, I know y'all love your tight end, so who should we be looking at? I mean, because
Wait, we can't. Well, it's June. Hold on, Mary.
I know, but I'm just saying.
No.
It's been like 2 years in a row we talking about tight end.
I know. Me and J Tug will have our meetings. Well, you know, we'll link up. We're gonna have some meetings about it. We'll talk about it. We can't give y'all the tight end.
We've been trying to help the Cowboys with this situation.
Well, because in my
we've been
head,
trying.
I need some more continuity at the position. We haven't had it, so I don't like them. We're changing starters every year on the tight ends, and then if we do it on wide receivers too, and it's like it's just too much. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I hear you. I know. I look, and I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying. I look at the Cowboys. I look at they tagged multiple times, right? And we're talking about money saving, as Professor was bringing up, and how we kind of got to this point. And if he has, say, 900 yards, 8 touchdowns, it just seems the way they're going to do it. Because here's what they're going to say: Stephen Jones is going to come out and say, "Well, there's only so much pie to go around. We got to pay Diggs. We got to pay
Dak
Lamb.
already, guys. We already paid Dak.
Yeah, we already paid Dak. We got to pay Diggs. We got to pay Lamb. Dalton Schultz. Sorry, you had to play on the tag one more time. That's why I'm so high on the percentage. Now, Spoonie.
Coach Marv, no, Schultz is not a true cornerstone. I was just, saying that as an example.
Well,
Yeah.
I would kind of disagree with that.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Well, here's what I'm saying. I feel like right now Dalton Schultz is a cornerstone the way our team is constructed.
That's fair.
But do they view him that way?
I mean, but I feel like
season,
right now
this season
with Mike for this season, right? So with Michael
Right.
Gallup kind of being limited, you have CeeDee Lamb. Like I feel like Dalton Schultz production is going to increase from last year. I just think naturally it will be. So, it'll be like I'm not saying he is a cornerstone talented player. I would have walked away from him this season, but the way things are right now, like I feel like his usage is going to be at a lot higher clip than it was even last season. So,
Oh.
I mean, I do think his usage
I object.
I do think his usage will be up. I do think.
Right.
But.
Yeah.
So if he
so
goes
yeah,
900,
it's
900,
very.
oof.
Yeah. But
I mean, do we think he's capable of getting 1,000? 1,000?
Here's the
Is he
thing.
getting
Here's the
1,000?
thing, though. All yardage ain't built the same, though. We could say 900,
Right.
and those things happen. And that's kind of the construct, right? You know what I mean? That's kind of the construct of things that are going to happen here. And again, it's kind of going back to the point of if he's similar. Look, forget saying he's better. Let's say it's just similar numbers again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, right? There's not the same kind of guys around, depending on what's. But again, we start talking about what Tober did when Gallup comes back. What happens there? Like, so it's a construct of those things. So we're kind of using raw data numbers of if he does this, will they do that? I think just in general, and that's why I kind of said the Cowboy way. Like, I don't think they're in a rush, right? I don't think they're in the rush to go out here and do those things, right?
Let me ask you this, Nick. Do you think he has a sponsor in house?
No,
I do.
Dak, maybe Dak. No, wait. I'm rewind.
Yeah, Dak.
I rewind.
Dak is Dak.
Yes,
It's
Dak.
Dak.
I rewind. I was thinking from the coaching staff standpoint. I don't know about the coaching staff,
I think
but I
Dak
definitely think Dak's a sponsor though, and that matters. Which was a great point, Spoonie, because we talked about that and it got brought up. I think Coach Cowboy kind of even brought it up as our conversation.
Right.
Amari Cooper didn't have the Dak sponsorship, perhaps, and maybe that's why he's gone.
I think Dak probably was like, And they were
Yeah,
like, okay,
I got
bye.
Lamb. Yeah. Go ahead, and move around, right? So shout out to my guy Outlaw Cowboy in the building. Man, the chat's lit, man. Appreciate the chat. My guy Jeremiah Trades in the building. What's going on?
Guys.
Coach Marv's in the building. Bailey's in the building. My guy BG, man. Hey, man, go check out his content, man. He does some great things.
Our guy Brad Walker's here. Brad just got a
Walker's
new,
in the building.
I saw Brad Walker just signed with a new blog. I forget the company name. So Brad, put it in the comments so people can check you out. I know you just.
I got Buddha's in the building.
Yeah. Hey, y'all know us, y'all. You ain't gotta tell me us he ain't nice. You know, I've been trying to get him out the door for the last 2 years.
We look. They told us we were crazy on the pitch train. Now look at us now. Look at this now.
We was one pick away from getting up out of there with Trey McBride, man. So don't put me on the Dalton Schultz train.
And shout out to my guy Mayo, always coming through and representing on the Twitter Spaces as well. Just an interesting construct of how things are built with Schultz and what we can look at long term. This double tag, and again, as we were talking about it behind the scenes earlier this week in our chat, and it was like, for me, the first thing that popped is, well, look who they've tagged 2 times, and literally, if it wasn't for D-Law saying, hey, man, I ain't getting the shoulder surgery, he would have been on that tag. Right. And that's the reason why I got it worked. So it'll be very interesting to see where Dalton Schultz ends up. Now, Smooney, you're Lone Wolf, to steal from NFL Network. Ooh, how do what you got to do? Lone Wolf says getting signed prior to camp.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, hey, guess what? Want to bounce back in? If you do it, we're gonna clip this and we're gonna run it to the moon.
Okay, Spoonie, but let me ask you how you feel like. Do you feel like he deserved it? Do you feel like he's? A lot of our fan base has been all over the place about what they think about that. I haven't heard you say exactly what you think. Maybe I missed that show, or maybe I missed something. But tell me what you think.
No, sis. I think, in my opinion, that losing Amari Cooper, of course, that's a big deal to us. But Schultz is one of Dak's guys, his main targets, and I forgot the brother's name from Cowboys Wire. He had put up there his prediction of Michael Gallup's being out for this year. He feels it will be after the offseason, and that was fresh coming in today. So when you let's go with that. If that's the case, you got to have Dalton Schultz in here. He's one of Dak's main targets. I don't think any of us would feel comfortable with CeeDee Lamb, and then we got to rely on Jalen Tolbert growing that fast, or Dwayne, Washington or Vasher. We don't want that. We want those guys to contribute when they can, but we want the main contributors who have success with Dak Prescott in the past to be the guys on the field. And with Schultz, it's not going to feel good where he can hold out, because I'm going to be honest, him holding now and sitting now can really affect this offense. He's one of the main guys.
I agree with that part.
I think because of how Dak is a great quarterback, not only that, a good friend, a leader. We see Michael Gallup take a pay cut. I can see Schultz say, you know what, I'm here long term. I got my security, meaning that if I risk paying the tag and I'm hurt, I may not ever see this type of money ever again. So I'm gonna get my security, but I think they're gonna, on the side, they'll figure some things out where commercials or whatever, he'll make some money.
What do you want to sell in AT&T Stadium, dog? What do you want to sell up in there? We got you.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what we can sell, because if y'all follow him in anything, if you haven't been blocked, real quick, if you haven't been blocked by Dalton Schultz on Twitter, raise your hand.
Not yet. Yay.
Okay. And look in the chat. If you haven't been blocked by Dalton Schultz yet on Twitter, raise your hands in the comment section as well. But again, if you've been following him, he just built a Blake Jarwin gaming PC. He's very big into gaming and streaming in that realm. And back to that kind of point you're talking about, they can maybe link up some things and get into the esports side. We already know there's a team in Dallas that's doing some esports things, right, with the Mavericks and that owner, right? So
I ought to jump on Call of Duty and troll his life away, man.
Oh, Lord.
He's big on Twitch, so like Twitch would be a natural sponsor for him.
There's
having
another
an
one
NFL
there,
player that you can interact with like that, he'd be somebody that would make sense for their commercials. But bringing it back. So Marv said, if he has a great year, like, let him play it out. He's not agreeing with Spoonie. He wants to let him play it out on the tag, and if he has a great year, he said the money will be there. I don't disagree with you. I think kind of all of us are saying the money even if it's there, I don't know that Stephen Jones will commit to the money he would need if he has a big year. I do think he'd consider a second tag because then you can bring him back, still get the production, and then let him walk and get potentially an even higher comp pick because we know that we value those. But it's one of those things for the entire offseason. All of Cowboys Nation has been saying, we need more 12 personnel. We need more 12 personnel.
Yes.
As of today, he's by far the best tight end on our roster. So he's valuable to us right now. If he has a good season, how do you walk away from that? If he has an 800 or 900 yard year, you're going to be inclined to bring him back until you see Ferguson or McEwen or somebody else bridge that gap where it makes sense to let him walk. I don't see him, and I like Dalton Schultz, but I don't see him as a guy that you want to keep for the next 4 or 5 years. But you may want to bring him back for 2023 and then move on at that point because there's also other contracts like Zeke and other players like that you could kind of clean off the record, off the books at that point. So I could see it. I just thought it was worth bringing up. Some of the percentages are interesting. So we kind of have a mixed bag here. I'm interested to see what the chats have. Like, do you guys think it's a 0% chance, 20% chance, an 80% chance? What are you guys thinking?
75% chance.
75.
So yeah,
Double
Nick
tag.
said 75. Mary was at what, 30, 35?
35 to be tagged again.
I'm
Yes.
10,
I'm 0.
0.
So he's like he's getting signed tomorrow.
Yeah.
Matt,
Right,
what's your percentage?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 14% because he's number 86, so that gets my even 100%
Oh, it's at 100.
numbers. I'm gonna go with
Right,
14.
by $1.
I just have a question. One question. I don't
Sure.
want to. It's a tight end question. Tuck.
You know we got. I'm just gonna be clear. You know we got to cover tight ends next week. Just be honest. I'm just.
I
letting
know.
you
I know. I just.
We gotta come back.
Everybody. I think Mary too said it.
80%. Wow.
The tight end draft. Are we talking about Michael Mayer?
Yeah.
No.
I just want
Hold on. I need to stop you guys right here. Cowboys, we are not on
We're not
pick
doing that
6
yet.
and on CFO.
I know.
We are
I
not
just want to
talking
make
about
sure.
Spoonie on pick 6 and
Go ahead, I
CFO.
know.
We're not talking about any tight end prospects at all.
No, not yet.
Because what
Not
happens
yet.
is everybody else
Tight end
drafts them. So we're not talking about any tight ends at all.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Yes.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'll just keep it out.
We can keep that privately.
Look,
Yeah,
no,
Yeah.
not true. Me and Jay Tuck are gonna be out here talking about him in the streets after the season.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
know.
lie to
And
you.
then they're going to be drafted
Y'all
by the
can't
Eagles
help
and
it. Y'all
Giants.
can't help it.
I've already posted pictures of
Jay
everything.
Tuck be
man.
having like 5 tweets in a row of who he like, and I'm like,
When I was on vacation, man, I was already window shopping, man. Like, oh yeah, let me.
It's funny because tight end is to Tuck as safeties is to Spoonie. Like that, they have
Oh
that
my
one
goodness.
position where they're like, if I could just get my guy at tight end or my guy at safety.
and
If
both
I
have been like
knew how
messing
things
it
were
up.
going to end up, man,
Yeah.
I'll take back all the bad stuff I said about Jelani Woods, man. I would take it back in a heartbeat, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you see. Yeah, now you see. With that
I'm
being said,
sorry.
let's pivot through some of that. That's the tight end. We'll put that in bed. We definitely do have the tight end position to cover as we're doing a roster breakdown series leading up to training camp. So stay tuned for that, and we'll definitely run that in. We'll have to bring. Look, as me and Jay Tuck, we had the pitch shirts, the pitch train shirts during the draft. Different things if y'all know about it. You know what? When we do the tight end show, you're going to come back, and you know what? We're going to bring in our pitch shirts for that tight end show. That's
And
what
the
we're
Michael
going to do.
Myers
We gotta do
mask.
it. Yeah.
Maybe we need to do it like NCAA football where
Oh,
we show pictures of it, we talk about their
Yeah.
numbers, but we never say the name as like the loophole to get around it. Maybe we
Right.
just don't say the player's name. We're like, hey, number
we're gonna
14 on
work
that
it out.
team,
Yeah,
he'd be
Right.
great for the Cowboys.
big facts. Also, the news and notes. I want to bring this up because this kind of got brought to the forefront, pivoting away here from Mr. Schultz and everything that's going on. Our guy here. Oh, let me get the news and notes out of there. Sorry, hey man, I'm working. I'm working this as best I can. Got a report on the kicker. Mary, you have his name down, Pat. Go ahead and give us the name.
Jonathan Garibay, kicker
All right.
from.
Is that where we're at? So we're moving forward here. Are we okay with Garibay? Are we good? Is that where we're at? Is that the official way to say the last name?
I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
I'll roll with it.
Garibay or Garibay? Yeah, Garibay.
I like it.
All right.
We're going to go Garibay.
Garibay. We're going to let it hang
Until
in as
somebody tells us
Garibay.
otherwise.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's what
we're
we're
letting it
doing.
hang in Garibay. So, but the report was that the Cowboys have been blown away, quotations, coaches and everything on the team with his kicking throughout OTAs. But they will, but they still expect to bring in a veteran or whatever, save his leg, obviously. You know, quote unquote, you want to call it competition, whatever the case may be. But for all intents and purposes, and y'all know look, y'all be following me on Twitter, you already know every weekend during the season, I'm like, special teams matter, all caps, every week.
Definitely.
I've been on that.
Yeah.
I've been that way.
And that's been a problem for the Cowboys for a long time. Very long time.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah,
So with that being said, guys, with that being said, to me, kind of reading that, the tea leaves, you know, things are happening. It's done, right? He's the kicker, right? Is that where we're at right now, Tuck?
Yeah, you would think so. And I actually posted something today on Twitter, and a few people heard, because we got a lot of Cowboys fans, of course, Texas Tech fans, and they're like, man, the kid is phenomenal. Like, he has a big leg, 62, 63, he's clutch. And so, of course, you know, we're not watching film on no kicker. I'm not watching no film on no kicker. But today, I know in the chat, I had posted, I was watching the Raiders game, the Raiders film, and I was sitting back thinking, like, damn, man, like, Zerline was missing extra points and kicks in this game, too, on Thanksgiving. So you go back and you think about how many games would have been differently if we would have had just a kicker that was more consistent. Like, you go back to Tampa and some of these other games. So if this kid is able to step in, he's going to be able to fill a huge void that I don't think a lot of people were talking about. So when I see that type of news coming out of Dallas, it gives me kind of a sigh of relief. I've been like, all right, tell me something about this kicker, man. So hopefully the kid holds up. So I've been hearing good things about him too as well.
Yeah, Professor O is kicker lives matter, man. Special teams matter. Start watching that tape. Yeah.
I watch no fail with no kickers.
Look. How many games did the kicker cost us last year?
I know a lot.
Lord.
Like with 3. So I know Tampa was one.
Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa's. Yeah. I mean, get into
that's
it.
The main one that I remember.
Special teams matter. Dadgummit. Professor O, done deal on the Red Raider kicker.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the route they want to go. I just am mad because I'm like, you're bringing in a vet kicker. I understand to save his leg, but like, can we not save the legs of our young OTs and bring in a vet swing tackle? Like, come on, give me my swing tackle. Please, we're bringing in a kicker for competition. Can you not bring a vet?
Not going to quit asking.
Sure.
But I love that they said
we've
been blown away by him, but we're going to go ahead and bring in somebody to compete with him.
Right.
But we really love him. Really, you know, he did great. No, I think it's really one of those things too. You want to do it to save the kicker's leg. You don't want him to have to do all the kickoff reps and all the field goals. So, in the off chance that, because kickers get the yips, we've seen it before with, you know, Vanderjack, for instance, most accurate kicker in NFL history, and then missed a kick and then suddenly couldn't kick field goals anymore. So it happens. Injuries, groin injuries are especially common with kickers, or if they hurt their plant leg, if somebody tries to block a kick and hits it, you need an extra kicker there in-house. So I get it. I don't think it's a major deal whatsoever, but I do think he's pretty clearly the front runner to be a kicker this season. Plus, I never want to kick field goals anyways. Just go for it every time. And we're
good. Yeah. I mean, go for it every time. But even on the back end of that, though, they already told you, Professor O, Waletziko's your swing tackle. I don't know why you want to sign a guy. They got Ball, Waletziko. I mean, come on, what's the problem?
I mean, maybe he's great. I don't know. But that's the thing is, I don't know what he can do.
I'm scared.
Bring me somebody who's had a cup of tea with an NFL player and, like, you know, been in big moments. Not a guy from North Dakota. And he could very well develop and be a good player. When I say North Dakota, I probably should stop saying that because there's plenty of guys from small schools or non-Power 5 that pan out. So to be fair to him, I'm not going to make it seem like he's not talented because he went to a smaller school. But I am saying I don't know what he can do. I don't know how any coaches could say we saw him in reps at practice when the defense wasn't wearing pads. Like, he's clearly our guy. Like, I want to see an actual competition. Like, we've done that at several positions, like quarterback. Obviously, we're not bringing a quarterback in to push Dak. But the difference between Dak and what we have at quarterback is massive. The difference between Tyron Smith and what we've had at swing tackle is usually massive. So I would like to see a tackle that I can bring in and feel some level of confidence. Like, he'll be okay for 3 or 4 weeks until Tyron's healthy or until Steele's healthy or whatever. I just don't have that now. So I'm concerned big time. I know this is about kickers, but until we sign one, I'm going to keep bringing it up.
And of course, our guy said, let's go hater. But neither here nor there. Our guy Knight says kickers. We're talking about kickers. AI voice.
Yes, they're important.
Man. Yeah, tell him, Mary, get on him.
No, I mean, like, so, you know, thinking about last year with Greg Zuerlein, how they went into the season knowing that he was coming off this back injury. that he wasn't 100% ready, and just let him go in there and miss those kicks and continue to do it all season. It's extremely frustrating. Like we talked about it a lot.
And the scary part is people forget they tried to re-sign Zerline. Zerline spun his nose up.
Yes, thank God he said no.
Thank you, Jets. Thank you, Jets.
That's the scary part. So with everything that Mary said, they came out and made excuses about his back, and they tried to re-sign him again. And just like.
And also the what's his name? None of us could pronounce his name. Liram
Hallelujah. Just hallelujah.
Yeah, like he was doing pretty well, and then they got rid of him. I mean, I think he's still available. Yeah. So I mean, maybe that's someone they're thinking of bringing in, which I wouldn't be opposed to because he did well while they gave him a chance. But
the other guy too.
But why is that not at least a small move that they, made right now? Like
they got time, Mary. They're not practicing.
Samuel, not only did they try to re-sign Zerline, they tried to do it before we signed the All-Pro punter. Zerline was the priority.
Oh my God, yes,
after
we
Zerline
almost lost Ryan
then we signed Anger back. Like, it's crazy.
Yes, I remember that. I remember.
The Reaper had a good comment too, saying, "Can we say we can't draft linemen well out of the first round? Connor was a bust. McGovern looks like a bust. Biadasz, we won off a bridge. Ball, we don't know. And then Steele wasn't drafted. Really, the last offensive lineman we've truly developed was Doug Free. That was not a first-round pick. Connor Williams, I'm higher on than a lot of people, but he was really the last guy, and he was a tackle that we've developed that was able to, Yeah. So he was really the last guy that we've developed that was a mid-round lineman.
Level with Connor. Yeah, I agree with you on Connor Williams too. Yeah. But not that he's going to play center in Miami. That's a whole nother story. But.
Right, acting real brand new.
I guess and we'll put here to the last topic here on the news and notes. And as I saw somebody said Terrence Steele, but Terrence Steele was undrafted. That's the thing, drafted wise.
Cole said D-Law split his money for the punter.
He did. That's it.
Yeah.
The punter and Fowler, man.
Punting is important though, okay? Because when we had Chris Jones and he was messing up, we were like, oh.
Hey, punter lives matter. Special teams matter.
People
can get a punt returner? Can you get a punt returner then?
Ooh, please. Yes, from
your
lips to God.
Whoa. You're going too far there, Suck. Easy. We drafted Tolbert. Right? We drafted Tolbert.
You're asking for too much, okay?
Yeah, easy. We drafted the guy. He's going to do both.
He never returned punts. Let's put him back there. He'll figure it out.
I'll bring it. And look, and I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it back full circle on the punt returner here in a little bit. I got something for that. Right. News and notes as well. The Vasher was I forgot what the site was, and they were talking about camp standouts, right? And
ESPN.
Maybe surprise. ESPN, right? Okay, yeah. And Vasher was the guy, which is interesting about Vasher because we've actually, whether it's the spaces or here on the show as well, when we talked about the wide receiver breakdown week, that was last week actually, last episode 3, about the wide receivers, and Vasher was very high on the list. We kind of definitely broke it down and talked about him, but ESPN buying into the hype of Vasher, and we'll kind of get out of here on news and notes unless you got something else. Are you, I know we talked about it before, but for those in here, are you a buyer or seller on the hype of Vasher? And we kind of framed it before on the Sean Wright had the hype as a rookie in the OTAs and rookie camps, and then we got to training camp. It's like, oh, okay. Vasher's been here a year. He's bulked up, and there's a lot of heat behind that coming out of the Cowboys side. Now here's ESPN on record with it. Are you buying or selling the Vasher hype heading into training camp? And I'm gonna go clockwise. I'm gonna go Mariella. Are you buying or selling Vasher hype?
I'm not buying anything this offseason.
Okay.
And it has nothing to do with Vasher. Like, he's tall, 6'6". They say he's been a great red zone threat, which is a great thing. That's something we need. But I'm not buying anything. I'm not buying it because that's stuff that they like to sell to fans when they know they haven't done what they're supposed to do. Washington has missed time. Noah Brown, who always misses time in the offseason, has missed time. CeeDee Lamb missed time. We know Gallup isn't in. So it's like, they're giving these younger guys a chance, and they want to sell us those guys because they know the guys that we're thinking about aren't ready or are not playing right now. So no, I'm not buying it. I'll wait until I see him at least in preseason games. I'm not buying it at all. I hope for the best, but I'm not buying it.
Okay, are you buying the hype, Tuck? Monbash?
For
I mean, you was out here selling the snake oil last year.
Hey, y'all know I'm the captain of the Vasher train, man. All aboard. I tried to get y'all on for discount prices last year, man, but nobody wanted to listen to me. But yeah, I'm
Tuck
buying the
really draft him, by the way. That's how much Tuck liked him. It's not like Tuck saw him in undrafted free agent, fell in love. Like Tuck liked him pre-draft.
Yeah, way pre-draft. I
He
even have
did.
videos on it and everything.
No, he definitely did. I remember.
I love TJ Vasher, and I feel like he's going to bring something dynamic to our offense. And we talked about it last year because they didn't move him to the practice squad. So they kept him even though he was injured. So it seemed like they always had a plan for TJ Vasher. And I said this last year on Twitter. I was like, once Cowboys fans finally get to see TJ Vasher, which I thought was going to be last preseason, right, they're going to fall in love with him. I think that's going to continue throughout camp. I think Kyle Uman came out and said, spoke about TJ Vasher very highly. You mentioned ESPN, so you're hearing a lot of things. And now we're going to start having the question between, Simi and Vasher, because it's like, all right, Simi, you really got to make your way to fit in. So it's going to be interesting to see how that camp battle goes. But yeah, I'm Team Vasher all the way. Buy the hype while it's cheap, y'all. Get it right now.
Yeah.
See, it's different with you because you were always high on him, but I'm just not buying what the team is selling at all.
I got you. Well, ESPN was selling it. But yeah, here's the thing. Barbecue or mildew. That's where we're at with Simi this year for sure.
Yes. Okay.
Go ahead there, Spoonie. You buying or selling the Vasher hype?
Come on, Spoon.
Sorry, Jay, but I'm selling.
Spoonie's rarely negative. Oh my god.
The tag team champs have broken up. We just watched Shawn Michaels. We just
right now.
We through the glass, man.
He just threw it through the glass. Go ahead, Spoon. Walk it out for him.
Yeah, we still got to see Simi Fioku. We know him and Dak had a pretty solid connection. Him staying in Dallas and everything. Don't get me wrong, TJ Vasher, that size, he put on some bulk. That's something that you would want in a receiver, especially for a quarterback. But I really do feel that they're gonna look at these guys and they're gonna want to put the more experience on the field with Dak. I think Noah Brown's gonna stay. So it'll be between Simi and him, between Simi and Vasher, or a free agent wide receiver they may go look at or trade, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think they don't want the most experience just because
I just have one question real quick before we move. One question. I should have asked this last week, but I was very distracted.
I'm sorry, Todd.
Oh man, hurts, Spoon.
I'm just saying.
Mary's just hitting her up. I object button all night. She's like, I object. One more question.
Dang it, my bad. I'm doing it again.
I'm letting it hang. I'm letting it hang tonight.
I'm just saying, you just put him through the window. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I never expected it.
I
not you. I was talking to. Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mary. No, go ahead, Mary. No, you're good.
I should have brought this up last week, but
what's the
with
question?
Noah Brown, I don't think we've ever asked this, or maybe I just don't remember because margaritas. But who is Noah Brown's sponsor in the building?
I think Zeke.
I think it's Zeke too.
It's funny you said that, Mary, because I was actually watching film on Noah Brown trying to figure out why the hell is he continuously getting these deals, and I don't know. Oh, like his agent is cold as hell. I don't know. You don't hear nothing about no negotiations. Just like Noah Brown signed a new contract. It was just like, all right. It's like,
I mean, honestly,
he misses most off seasons, and then he comes in sparingly, and then we'll see him a little. And then the sponsor, again, he's back on the team.
Yeah, the sponsor is your special teams coach, because it's not about he's doing a wide receiver or the blocking as they're trying to sell when it comes to him. It's really about he plays literally all the kickoff, punt,
okay,
like he's he's not a ace per se like a CJ Goodwin, but he's a special teams guy, and he's not making a ton of money. And I think that's really what it boils down to when they look at him. So when we look at, and we'll talk about this here in a second when we get to the cornerbacks, but CJ Goodwin in space says cornerback, but that's not really what he's here for.
What he's here for, exactly.
And I think that's kind of where we're at with Brown to a certain extent. Not the same, because he'll get some burns But I think it's kind of that though. But back over you to O.
That makes sense.
Because you're right. It's like he's a good blocker. I'm like, let me see. Like, is that the myth? I think it's something the Cowboys fans just ran with. Like, he's a good
O has a
blocker.
great point. Yeah, I was gonna say O has a great point about Noah Brown's blocking. I'll let him do that, and then we'll see if he buy or sells the hype. Brown's blocking to you, as we had the conversation. I'll let you preview that to the people.
I mean, Brown is like sold to us as an elite special teams guy. He's not Matthew Slater. He's never made a Pro Bowl as a special teams guy. He's a good special teams player, but he's not the guy that we're led to believe. He's also sold to us as a very strong blocker. If you go back and watch last year, we did a ton of wide receiver screens, and our fan base, including myself and everybody in this panel, were mad that we kept doing it because they weren't working.
Yeah.
Brown is out there more often than not on these wide receiver screens whiffing. He's not like this de facto extra tackle on the field or even a light end who can block like tight ends. Like if you hear this that he's this great blocker, find a clip of him like drive blocking a cornerback downfield. Find a clip of him lighting up a linebacker to open up a hole. Like I have not seen that. He does play a decent amount, not like 50 snaps a game or anything crazy, but he's out there in situations where they have him lined up at wide, they bring him back in the backfield to kind of use as a lead blocker. Tell me the game that he had the block that sprung a long run. It's not there. So this idea that he's a great blocker and that's his value, I just don't buy at all.
Well, remember his locker was next to Zeke and Dak, so maybe that's just what it was.
Yeah,
like hey,
there's that. So. But Tyrone, that's not true because we heard the hype about Parsons before we got to training camp, and we saw how that panned out. There's been players that we've heard like hype about before they got to actual training camp that's panned out. But recently, I get you. Yeah, they should last year, blah, blah, blah. I got you. But with that being said, Professor O, and we got news and notes here. The Vasher hype from ESPN, buying or selling the hype on Vasher as we're moving forward.
Yeah, I don't want to give a fake on the fence answer. I'll say right now I'm window shopping with the intention to buy. Like I'm pretty seriously ready to buy. And the reason for that is because he offers something unique that nobody else in the receiving room has. He has a different body type and a different size and a different vert and 81-inch reach. Like he has different things that nobody else can offer. And that goes a long way. We talked about this last year when we talked about our 53-man roster cut right as we were going to the season. It was intriguing that they decided not to put him on IR, not to do anything else, not to put him on the PUP list. They used the NFI, which is a non-football injury designation. They could have used a lot of different designations, but they used that because they did not have to cut him and then re-sign him to put him on injured reserve. And they also didn't have to take up a roster spot and cut somebody else to bring him back on. If they slapped an NFI tag on him, it quite literally protects him from any other team signing him. They can then bring him back later in the season, completely under team control and not have to worry about suitors who would go after somebody like that because of his unique size. Some team would have most likely given it let's bring him in for a cup of coffee and see how that goes. So again, because he offers something different and we know that he did well in camp, all of the people there, Michael Gelkin brought it up, Bobby Belt brought it up, Mike McCarthy brought it up, Kellen Moore brought it up, Dak brought it up. Like there's a lot of noise behind this. It's not just he had one catch or one big highlight reel that people are excited about. The reason I'm not fully buying yet is because they're at OTAs. They're not wearing full pads. And the one thing that he struggled with in college, which is why he was not with a good size, good speed, good reach drafted higher, is because he struggles with contested catches. So you would think with his size profile, he's going to be a jump ball god. And he kind of is. But the problem is he's not super physical because he's rail thin. So he struggles at the point of contact. So when he's going up to get the ball and bringing it down, defensive backs are able to fight through his hands to knock the ball out. We've heard he's more physical and bulked up this year. So if we see that early in camp, I'm fully buying because I think he has a unique spot on the roster. The other dilemma too is a 6'6" body frame is kind of hard to envision as like a gunner on special teams, right? But we drafted a cornerback that we're going to talk about later that people think could be an elite special teams gunner. We have another cornerback that we're going to talk about later that people say is an elite special teams gunner. Like there's other bodies you can fill in these special teams. And I know Nick's is special teams matter. So I'm not saying you can just throw anybody there, but we have plenty of guys that fit. Devin Harper, another guy we drafted, that's a special teams type of guy. So I feel like if he can add something as like wide receiver 4, for instance, he may have a role in the offense very early on, especially while Gallup's out. So I'm window shopping. I'll say I'm buying right now. I'm buying.
There we go. There we go. Oh.
Yeah,
But I want to explain my reasons. Like I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
no, I'm
buying,
with it.
but I'm not I'm buying.
Like for me personally, I think he brings something that this wide receiver core doesn't have. We're talking about catch radius, right?
In the arms.
Right. Yeah, he has those things. I think also too, you have to walk through the door. I'm gonna go back to an undrafted guy from the same college, right? Undrafted, walked through the door, did the work. He's now going to be your day one right tackle, right? Same school, right? Undrafted, you got to walk through the door. And the things that we needed to see per se from Vasher, you got to get stronger, as Matt highlighted. You got to get bigger. Those things have happened. Check the boxes on those. So for me, and you're looking at, you've lost a Amari Cooper. You've not saying he's Amari Cooper, but you lost Amari Cooper, right? You lost to Cedric Wilson. I'm buying the hype. Me personally, I'm buying the hype because the size is there. Because what they wanted him to do, he walked through the door. Now, if we're having this conversation, he was doing well, but like the body type hasn't changed. Like there's different things about it and whatnot. But I think I can buy into the things that they wanted him to do. He actually took the time to go do them. So it matters. O's not wrong. We'll get to camp and find out. I understand that, but I'm buying this hype more than the Nation Wright hype of last year in rookie camp than this. I think there's more substance to it.
That part.
I think there's a lot more substance and that you can kind of sink your teeth into. And the wide receiver position is very fluid right now, and I think that matters.
I mean, this is definitely the time for guys like him to step up. Like it's your time. Really, it is.
Well, I think it's true too. Like shout out to our guy Vach. I don't know if he's here or not tonight, but he's on the volume. Definitely check him out. But he has this quote that kind of taken off amongst Cowboys Nation of off-season peanut butter. What that's saying is players get an NFL body. Players can reinvent themselves from year to year. We heard CeeDee Lamb bulked up, added 10.5 pounds or 20 pounds or whatever it was, and grew half of an inch. We heard that Golston put on 20 pounds, Tank lost weight. People can reinvent their body with NFL nutritional cycles, nutritional specialists helping them, having workout specialists and strength and conditioning and all that stuff. So some of the things that we were worried about last year or worried about in college, with a whole year of training, he may be quite a bit stronger than what we remember the last time we saw him. So I could see it. And if that's the early talk, obviously I want to see it in pads, but I'm excited right now.
Because I mean, when he was
come on, Plaxico Burris. Come
when
on,
we got him last
Burris.
year, I think it was like 215, and that's 6'6", 215. That's skinny. That's skinny.
Yeah,
Mary knows.
Take him a heart rate, give him 230, and boom, tied in. Tied in. There we go.
With that being said, guys, that kind of look. Y'all got anything else for news and notes, real quick, before we pivot over to this cornerback breakdown? Anybody else got something on news and notes?
No.
Yeah, no. Okay, well,
Bye now.
All right. We're going to pivot. We're going to switch gears. Then y'all ain't got nothing. All right. So now, as we continue our roster breakdown series leading up to training camp, tonight we are doing cornerbacks. We're going to dig into it, pun fully intended, and look at this thing. If you were listening to like some of the spaces, Spoon, you were part of it. We kind of talked about it last week, and we kind of got into what do you like more, the depth of defensive tackle versus cornerback, and we kind of talked about different things in that ilk. So we get to expand on the cornerback side. So if you're there, bonus time for you. If you're in the space, bonus time tonight. And I want to start. I mean, look, ladies and gentlemen, I think if we're going to start, let's start with your shooter, right? Let's really just. Let's just go ahead, and let's get it out there and talk about him. Y'all know the guy. Y'all know him.
Oh, when you said shooter, I thought you meant somebody else.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh, like, okay.
Yeah. See, it was a setup there. He didn't shoot, boy. And I knew in my head somebody was going to go through it. Damn it, I got two with it. That's so
I'm not
good.
surprised that it was me and Tuck. I'm not surprised that it was me.
I was like, I was going to get one, but I ended up getting two. With that being said, the ace, the number one, the guy that walks through the door, right? Trayvon Diggs. Obviously, here's the stats. As my guy says, never heard of him. neither here nor there.
Most of the world, he's known as Aiden Diggs' dad. That's
there you go. Yeah,
I like that one.
Yeah, my guy says Come on, man. Look, it's bars. It's layered here. You gotta work. You gotta follow me. It's layered here.
I'm gonna be good for the rest of the show.
All right, yeah.
With that being said, though, I mean, as y'all see, right, combined tackles, right? You know, we assists, the ints. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now it's very different. Depending on, and we had this talking in the space and different things about the PFS and what you pick and choose and what you do. But yeah, Diggs going into year 3, we saw the year 1 jump to year 2 jump. He's the ace of the group. We saw the history that he did. This time I'm gonna go counterclockwise. Trayvon Diggs in this cornerback breakdown as we're going through here. We know what he's done. What are you looking forward to this season, Professor O?
Yeah, so I love Diggs. I'm the win the turnover battle and you're going to win the game. That's like my thing. If you haven't heard it, the stat's pretty easy. If you win the turnover margin, you have a 78% chance to win the game. And a guy like Trayvon Diggs goes a long way to do that. So I love him. The reality is he's almost guaranteed to take a step back in terms of interceptions. If you look at the last like 8 or 9 guys that had 9, 10 interceptions in a year, they typically take a big fall down the next year. Although we saw him get his hand on the ball as a rookie, we saw him do it again last year. He's at 14 through 2 seasons. I don't think he's going to take a huge drop off. Like, I wouldn't be shocked at all to see him in the 7 interception range, which is still a great season. So I think we're going to see things too where quarterbacks maybe don't test him quite as much, or maybe a little bit more resistant to throw like a comeback route or hitch route because he jumped those so often last year. So we probably will see some early double moves early in the season to see if quarterbacks can kind of discover if he's, worked on that this offseason, which I'm sure he has. So I love Diggs. I think you can definitely win big with a cornerback like him. I don't really care about the yardage whatsoever because there's not a huge statistical correlation behind passing yardage and wins. So I don't really care if he gives up 1,000 like PFF said, or he gives up 800 yards a year, because we saw Jalen Ramsey gave up almost the same number and had 3 interceptions. Which one's more impactful? Are you really saying I'd rather have 100 yards less receiving allowed but not have 8 interceptions? Like, that's foolish. Obviously, you take the interceptions all day. So I do think he'll bounce back and have 7 interception season or something like that, with his number. And he's far and away the best cornerback on our roster. And I think he's somebody who's going to be a big part of our team moving forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna say don't put a cap on him and go out there and get 14. Just go get 14, Diggs.
Right.
I ain't putting no cap on Diggs, but what you say is absolutely true. Spoonie, Diggs, and what you looking for this year from him?
Uh-oh.
I know sometimes I get a little crazy and excited. I want to get everybody.
It's your time, sir.
I'm gonna go out on the limb and I'm gonna say this: Diggs will have 12 or more interceptions. I'm not gonna say 20.
That sounds amazing. Sign me up for that.
I'm going with 12
Please
and I'm gonna say why. Because one of his sons just got signed to a new deal. Scary Terry. That's a son. Okay.
Oh, not one of him.
Okay, it was Father's Day, and every father is happy for their sons. So, Scary Terry, congratulations. Your daddy will give you a call. Says thank you.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's number one. His newborn son coming into the division, AJ Brown. That's going to be something different when the Eagles want to throw it at Rockmore. Well, we're going to introduce you to Mr. Diggs. Diggs going to come out there and say, hey, this is my land. This is where you come. This is where I throw you off my land. I'm telling you guys right now, in my opinion, again, and I said this before, I'm not saying he's Deion Sanders. No way. We got he's not Deion. But he is the best cornerback we had since Deion Sanders, in my opinion. He's a different type of corner. He transforms into this wide receiver that we was told about. Remember when they said when he came into Alabama,
five-star wide receiver recruit. Yeah.
Right, 5-star wide receiver. He transforms into a wide. He plays that the way he plays.
Why did he move away from wide receiver to cornerback? Tell people who maybe
Alabama.
That right there was
Alabama.
You
they had like 4 first-round picks and wide receiver. So.
Try something else.
I just want to bring it up because it's not uncommon to hear wide receivers get recruited to go to the next level and then convert to cornerback because they have issues with drops. That was not the case. They just happened to have 4 first-round picks at wide receiver on the roster in front of him.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
And he cried. He said he cried about it.
Listen, guys.
You know,
I know sometimes we get carried away. Sometimes we don't want to put out the hard numbers because it could be with too much with fans. But when you have it in your gut and you feel it and you see that, you got to go with it. Diggs, I'm telling you right now. You know what? I'm betting again. I'll bet y'all some wings again.
I'm
some wings.
No. I ain't taking that bet.
This will be NFL draft wings, and we got to. You can put it up there. I'm saying he got 12 interceptions.
Okay.
And up. I'm calling it right now. 12 and up.
Okay.
Scooty, I'll meet you in the middle. I will take that bet, but not at your number 12. I will take anything over 7 interceptions. I'll buy you wings.
I got you, brother. We go with that.
That's a better bet for you than 12.
That's a bet right there.
The over underline at 7. Over
7. I got
7. I like that. Okay. Let me put. Hold on, man. Hold on. Let's smoke this. Now, look. I'm not. Look. Let me tell you why. I wanted to get you 14. I just said 14 before he said 12.
18,
I told don't put a cap on him. I'm not betting against this kind of numbers. Give it to me, okay? My guy Robert said came in with 15. Ooh, Cole said.
Ooh, Twitter don't want to see me if that happens. Twitter does not want to see me. I'm getting banned.
14.
Yeah, 14 for guy Ray. With that being said, though, Tuck, Diggs going into year 3.
Yeah, I think
pseudo contract here, not because you're a free agent, but they're looking to extend even.
Oh, we're not going to do it till last minute, right? We're not going to do it until he gets 15 interceptions, and that's when we're going to want to come to the table. But no, I feel like this is the year when Diggs learns how to control his superpowers. I feel like it's going to slow down for him. I don't think he's going to have a high interception clip for a few reasons, and I believe a lot of it's going to be due to that lion out there. Quarterbacks ain't going to be able to throw that much. So, I would say this. I feel like Diggs is going to be more consistent. He's going to learn from his mistakes that he made last year, as O kind of mentioned with the double moves and everything. But I feel like quarterbacks are still going to try him. I feel like they're still going to want to test him. I feel like he's not going to be a cornerback that quarterbacks are going to want to avoid until they pay that price. And I think that his wide receiving ability really comes into play because a lot of the interceptions he gets, though PFF disagrees, are complicated catches that most cornerbacks typically don't catch. So I think he's going to probably be around the 7 interception clip, but I think he's going to have a phenomenal season as well. And I think things are going to slow down for him. So sky's the limit with Diggs, man. But I'll take that 15. I would love 15 interceptions because, like Mary said, I'm talking reckless on Twitter. I'm talking crazy. Yeah, I'm talking crazy.
Hey,
so
real quick for everybody that's in the building. I'd be clear. We got 42 in the building right now. Jay Tuck on his channel's got 16 likes. Over here on Pick 6 Sports, we got 13 likes. Man, make sure I go there, hit them the check mark scores.
Let's go.
Yeah, get them likes up, y'all. Get them
every
likes
like
up.
is how many picks that Diggs is going to get, man.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's speak it into existence.
Let's go. Yeah, let's get those likes up on both channels, man, as we're doing this thing. Mary, Diggs pivoting into next season. What are you looking for? What are you looking at? What do you expect?
Yeah, so I agree with Jay Tuck as far as he's gonna grow on for just playing the position and doing what he needs to do and not falling for the same things. But also, we're in a division with Daniel Jones, Carson Wentz, and Jalen Hurts. So that's 6 right there.
Right.
That's 6. So, I think he can repeat
at
least 11.
Yeah.
Repeat at least 11.
At least 11. I love it. That's
I think
great.
he can
Run it
repeat.
back.
Repeat.
Run it back.
Run it back.
Run it
I'll
back.
buy you wings too.
And we
If he
play
does that. I hope
Houston
that
as well.
happens.
We got Houston out there, the Lions. There's
Right,
gonna be some floating ducks out there.
Like this is like he's reading their minds every time. He just like boom, caught it. Boom, caught it. This is my ball. He said it before. This is my ball. I'm going up for it like it's my ball. I mean, we play them 6 times, so at least 11.
I like what Jay Tuck said, though.
She said at least 11.
The contested catches.
A repeat.
Some throws. I'm sorry. Some of them throws. Your average corners won't catch it.
Right.
He does.
Yeah, I mean he's That's why it's BS when people will say, "Oh, those don't matter." Like some of those are diving or like jumping. Like he's really reaching for it like it's his ball. So yeah, he's gonna continue to do that, especially with QBs like that. We play them 6 times next season, like we did before. So
yeah, I think when it comes to Trayvon Diggs, I'll be honest with you, I just think the sky's the limit, and I'm not really trying to put a cap on him. It's fun to talk about the numbers, right? And history says it's hard to, you got to live in, the history shows. But also the one thing that history doesn't show is this league has changed in so many different ways from the times that those guys did those things to where we are now. And what I mean by that is the passing league that we're into and the things that are happening now. It's just varied and different in that way, where there should ultimately be more opportunities. Also, you have to look at, well, what's going to happen? Is Diggs going to be the guy that's going to travel this year and just be on whoever's number one? And if that happens, those quarterbacks or whatever are still going to throw that way because he's on the number one. And how does that break down? So I think there's a lot of intriguing things to see from Diggs and what's moving forward. I think, and again, we talk about year 3 with players. And we talked about even last year as we were doing content when it came to Diggs. He hadn't played a full NFL season yet because of the time that he missed as a rookie and routed himself into that within the second year of the scheme and within the second year of these guys that are coaching up the secondary and the Joe Witts of the world and whatnot. And I believe he's going to put in the kind of work. It seems his DNA is built that way with his older brother and stuff. So I'm super excited about him. INTs can be very funny. They just can be. There were things that he did last year that he caused them. On the same token, we go back to the Tampa Bay game, right? Right place, right time. The screen pass went off. Oh, here I am. And I think that's the thing for me that's exciting about Diggs is sometimes you create those kind of turnovers by play recognition and being in the right spot. And if something goes wrong, you get it. And I think that's what, to me, looking at the tape last year of Diggs was, and we're not talking about the double moves, just play recognition and being in the right places. And he does that very well. And if that was year 2 and really getting a full accountable, on the docket of season games going into this, it should be better. Now, how much do they target him and how things happen will be different. But I say this, Ramsey's considered elite, correct? I mean, He's considered elite.
I mean, no question.
So don't throw elite. So don't throw at Ramsey is the idea of what we think about in the old league, right? Guess what? Who was targeted more? And by how many? Between Ramsey and Diggs. Who was targeted more?
Well, it's such
it was Ramsey by 3.
By 3, yeah, it was so small. Yeah,
Ramsey by 3. In the old way, in the old guard of the NFL, Ramsey doesn't get. It's Revis Island all of a sudden. He's not getting thrown at.
Yeah,
that's the difference in the league, right?
Yeah.
That's the difference in the league now. Like we're talking about Ramsey, where people say, "Oh, unequivocal, lockdown corner, yada yada yada." He's getting targeted still.
Right.
Say whatever you want to say about Diggs yards and whatever. They're getting targeted the same, and he got targeted. It was either 3 more, 3 less, whichever one it was. How many receptions did he have last year?
3.
So in that
he should have caught.
Right. So again,
15.
So for me, when I talk about Diggs, it's very intriguing in this new NFL and how these things work of where it's going to head to and go. I'm excited. It is hard. 11 aunties is hard, but there's always somebody new to come to the table. It's like, yeah, this is easy for me, and you see it happen. Is that going to be Diggs? We'll find out. The one thing I do say is, when it comes to Diggs, I'm more excited about him taking the next step forward in this scheme, whether it's interceptions or not, and just being that kind of guy to help the rest of the team with the communication, even right into being in a place where the quarterback has to hold it, and then all of a sudden, now we're seeing the cornerback causing pressure sacks because of he took that away. And those are the things that to me, I think the biggest thing for Diggs this year will be this: there will be things happen that won't show up on the stat sheet for him this year. Right, it's kind of what I think, and we'll see where the INTs fall.
A good example of that would be go ahead, Mary. Sorry.
One thing I forgot to mention when I was talking about him was, I don't know how y'all feel about this, but I do feel like he made the rest of, I mean, maybe not all of the defensive backs, but maybe the other cornerbacks better. because it was one of those things where we heard where they were talking on the sideline. It's like, he got 2. I got to get at least 1. I gotta get mine. I gotta,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? That's kind of a great attitude to have on the sideline. It's like, oh, you remember I had to get mine. He already got his, so I got to get mine. And so
Right.
I think that's a great attitude for everybody. I think that's a unintended effect of what he does.
Gotcha. Yeah, tracking that. Go ahead, O, jump in there before we pivot.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so when Nick's made a comment, which I thought was a great point, when you said there's gonna be things that he does this year that don't show up on the stat sheet in reference to him. A good example of that would be if he continues to play tight coverage, and we know that Dan Quinn used man coverage more than any team in the league the first 8 weeks. I'm waiting on Football Outsiders because they're going to publish that later. But when you're playing in man coverage, if you're able to stay close enough to the receiver to make a quarterback have to hold the ball, that allows your pass rush a chance to get home. So if Diggs takes away those short routes, if he takes away those hitches and those curls and those comebacks and things like that, because quarterbacks are like, I can't throw it. I know he's going to be right on my receiver's hip. If I throw it, he's going to pick it. I have to wait for the route to develop. That gives Sam Williams, Dante Fowler, Tank Lawrence, Michael Parsons, Osa, the whole gang an extra split second, and that's all you need in the NFL, because the difference in a completed pass and a sack, or a completed pass and a sack fumble, or a tip pass is just that split second of hesitation. So Diggs continues to improve in coverage and forces teams to say the only way that we can beat him is with a double move. All that does is give the defensive line an extra split second to make that play. So I think Nick's is spot on with that comment.
Yeah. So it's going to be intriguing. We'll pivot. The slot, cornerback extraordinaire, right? We see the stats there. 61 combined tackles, 14 assists, had a sack and a half, and a career high 3 INTs. Day one guy here. We know he's going to be the slot guy this season as well. Your thoughts? Let me mix up. I'm gonna start with,
and he's number 2, by the way. He switched to number 2.
Oh yeah, he did.
He didn't switch so many numbers. I lost track.
I keep losing track.
He switched the numbers, but he's number 2 now for what it's worth. Right. Spoony, Jordan Lewis. What are we looking for this season from him?
Listen, he's my favorite. Besides that, he's my favorite corner. In my, for me. And that's him coming out from Michigan. Despite the allegations he had, he fought it through. That's why he didn't go in the first round. But I'll tell you this: he's always at the right place at the right time in a lot of games, a lot of meaningful games. My favorite game was against the New Orleans Saints when he caught the INT from Drew Brees and we sealed it. It's just things like Jordan Lewis is just that dog. The Giant game, where we were just going back and forth. He made that. He brought the momentum back to the Dallas Cowboys. He just a great player to have. Whether you want to play the outside, you want to play the slot, he's always around the ball to make a play. And in my opinion, he's here to stay for a long time.
Okay. J Tuck, Jordan Lewis going into this season. What are you looking for?
Yeah, going back to what you said, Nick, Jordan Lewis does the things that really don't show up on the stat sheet that the average fan really doesn't see. But I love Jordan Lewis, blitzing off the edge, like Spoon mentioned, making plays, like he's always going to be there. Like the worst game was probably the Raiders game, I would say. He struggled that game for a little bit, but he was consistent last year, and I feel like it was one of his best seasons thus far in Dallas. So, I think it's going to be an uptrend with Jordan Lewis. Things are slowing down, and he gives you the flexibility to play outside and also inside. Because I know last year we were maybe having a conversation like, could he play outside, and maybe they shift Anthony Brown in. So he gives you that versatility. Right. But I love Jordan Lewis, and I think this year is going to be another year for him that you might see an uptick for him. So,
yeah. And the hella competitive. And we kind of saw that his rookie year with him and Dez going back and forth, and he brings some of that fire. Professor O, Jordan Lewis going into this year in the spot. Facts. But Jordan Lewis moving into this season, what are you looking for? What are you expecting here a little bit?
I think Spoony and Tuck nailed it. I mean, that last year was his best season he's had so far in terms of consistency. He's kind of had a weird career where there's 1 or 2 games a year where he has great games, and then he has a lot of just okay games. He's very rarely bad. He's usually a handful of games where you're like, man, remember that game? He was great. And last year, I'd say the game was the Falcons game. He made several big plays early in the Falcons game I think him and Jaron Kearse kind of swung the momentum of that game with some of the plays they made. Because if you remember, we went for it on 4th down, converted. The Falcons tried the next possession, and on 3rd down, Jordan Lewis had a pass breakup, and on 4th down, Jordan Lewis had a pass breakup, I think on Pitts, if I remember correctly. And that was a huge momentum swing because at that point we went downfield and scored. And the game kind of changed from that. So I like him. He's one of those people, if you don't really pay attention to the small details of a game, you may say it seems like he's always right there and doesn't make the play. What he does as a slot cornerback is inherently harder than an outside cornerback. And the reason I say that is slot receivers are very rarely, if ever, on the line of scrimmage. So it's hard to jam at the line. They already have some separation there. Another thing is when you're outside receiver, the cornerback has the sideline to his advantage. You can shade inside and force the receiver towards the outside and have kind of a boundary to help you. The slot can go anywhere. There's so much field between where they line up in the sideline, in the middle of the field, that it's very hard to cover as a slot cornerback, which is why most of the time you see slot cornerbacks seem to give up more plays. It's not that they're any worse in coverage. It's just that they have a harder job. They're covering these small, shiftier guys that are a little bit harder to cover in space anyways. So I like J. Lou. He's been a guy that I think fans have been clamoring for more of for years. A lot of fans have wanted him to start. And then we know that, Chris Richard wasn't a fan of his height and things like that. But I think he's a competitive guy. I like having him in the roster. I know that, we're looking for how Bossman and Deshaun Wright can step up. But just because they're draft picks doesn't mean we need them to take his spot or Brown's spot or Diggs' spot. If those guys are playing better than them, that's a good situation to be in. So I like J. Lou. I'm excited about last year, and I'm excited to see what he can do this year.
Yeah, Mary, excited about J. Lou returning here in the slot and what he did last year?
Yeah, no, I agree with all the guys. I know there's a lot of fans that sometimes have a lot to say about Jordan Lewis, but I've always liked him as a player, and I think he had a great year last year. I think he's very underrated in the fan base. So, I'm excited to see, especially all these cornerbacks who actually got playing time, to see what they do again under Dan Quinn and under our defense. We were very happy with, pleasantly surprised with how they performed. Not just them, the whole defense. And so I'm excited to see what happens with all that.
10-4. Well, people heard Anthony Brown. He's still number 30, right? He didn't change to a single digit number. We're good on 30 on Brown.
I think he's still the same. He still got that chip on his shoulder, though. He's still got that chip.
He's got the potato chip, right? He's got the tab, right? Okay.
I don't know.
He's our old reliable, the guy that's been here the longest, kept the number the longest. He's the guy you can count on.
Yeah, he's number 3 now.
And you obviously you see some of the tackles.
Did you say he's number 3?
Yeah, he changed his number to number 3.
Oh, Brown, come on, man. I retract my last statement.
Did he really?
I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, he did because I remember playing Madden 23 the other day, and I'm like, who was this number 3 out there? And number 2, it was throwing me off.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How rude.
I hate it here.
Yeah, that he did.
2, 3, 7.
How rude.
I like the single digits though. There's just something about it. If you play football, I don't know.
Jordan Lewis number 2 jersey, that's hard.
So we have number 1 at cornerback, we have number 2 at cornerback, and number 3 at cornerback.
That number 2 should have been TDs. But
who's number 1? Who's the 1 quarter?
Boston changed it to number 1.
Well, they sharing
Kelvin
actually.
Joseph's
Wait,
number
who's
1
one?
No,
Kelvin Joseph changed to number 1.
But also Gavin Bay too's wearing number 1 in practice. That's a crazy thing.
They're not going to give the kicker the number.
They're not going to give him that number. They're not going to give him that number.
These cornerbacks are out of pocket. Y'all need to chill out. Anyway, so
they are definitely out of pocket.
Yeah, but back to Brown though. We see the stats here, and again, career high 3 INTs. I'm going to get on my soapbox here before anybody else about Anthony Brown. The slander that Anthony Brown has received is far too much. You look at what he's able to do. Look, if you take out the week 1 Bucs game, look, there's a lot of blame to be put around the Bucs game week 1 if you want to on the defensive side. If you go to the Raiders game, some of those calls were iffy, and also the coaching didn't do him no favors, especially in OT, right? You shouldn't have put those things in that position. So with that being said, pivoting back to Brown, I think to a certain extent, this thing kind of revolves around Anthony Brown. Look, Diggs is Diggs. We understand who he is for us, right? Boy, if you lose Brown, it's rough. It gets a little tight to me in a certain extent.
Agree.
You know, because when you talk about Diggs, it's like losing Dak. If you lose Dak, you lose Dak. It's a bad time. If you lose Diggs, I mean, it is what it is. But Brown is the guy that if you lose to me, it's like, ooh, it's a problem because Diggs can only do so much. What are you going to do in the slot? Are you going to take Jordan Lewis and move him? Like these different things. We'll talk about some of these other guys.
And,
but again, if you look at the money that Brown's making, you look at the production that he's giving you. I'm sorry, Anthony Brown is tremendous in what he did last year, right? In my estimation, I think a lot of undue hate at times for him. And I'm excited to see him again in his career for the first time. He's going to be outside in back-to-back years, like it hasn't happened for him. And now his same position, outside, same coaching staff, back-to-back, and let's roll. So to me, I'm very excited about Anthony Brown. I might be. And I love Jordan Lewis. Don't get it twisted. I'm supremely excited about Anthony Brown going into this year, and we'll kind of wait and see. But I like Anthony Brown. I think it's very solid here.
See that, but
what you got?
Next gen, and I posted this on Twitter. Next gen stats: top 10 coverage players of 2021 going into the season. Cowboys cornerback on the board, but it's not Trayvon Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they have Anthony Brown listed. That's one of the top coverage corners going into the season. So, yeah. Like you said, I'm like that too, and I think that goes back to what Mary said. They saw Diggs on the other side getting all this praise. It's like, hey, we holding it down over here too as well. So it brings up the competitive aspect amongst the secondary. And I think, like you said, Nix, some Cowboys fans, they just get their aim on one player, and whether it was 2 years ago, Anthony Brown sucks. Well, he sucks forever. Whatever. Like that's how it is. Like we got to get rid of him. He was always kind of scapegoat in the secondary, especially going into the season, but he played phenomenal last year. I think that was his best year. Actually, I think he had a Pro Bowl season, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think that he's going to be up as well and should be even better. Yep, steady. Yep, reliable. So
hey, you can't go wrong with that, right? Spoonie? I mean, he's steady and reliable.
Right.
But
I'm an Anthony Brown fan. I think, like you said, Nix, that most fans have been unduly hard on him. I don't think it was fair. I think he was much better than people think. And also, we have to think about the fact that he's been with different coordinators as well. Like before Quinn, it was Mike Nolan for that 1 year, a terrible year, and then it was Rod Marinelli. Like,
and he was in the slot, but he was outside, but he was in the slot. Like,
it
was never a homegrown thing for him.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things that have gone on overall with this defense. We've gone through so many changes. So you have to consider that. And like Chuck said, or like both of y'all said, people see, they were bad this year, and they just keep it going.
Right.
Like
can't get no better.
Yeah, it's never different. It's like, he sucks. Why is he still here? And it's like,
right.
So
yeah, big facts.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, or Spoonie, Anthony Brown next season.
Well, I tell you this. I'm gonna go back to at the time when I remember Dak's rookie year, and as a matter of fact, that was Anthony Brown's rookie year. I believe he was a 6th round pick. And they went to the Steelers, and he had to cover AB. I'm not saying he locked him down, but that was a game where everybody was talking about how much of a good game he played. And, going to what Maddie was just saying, after that, he was moved around. He never got the chance to stay in one spot and just really get better than what he does best until we saw him under Quinn. He had a great year last year. And, of course, I was one of those fans, but I guess it's because we kept on looking at the past and not understanding the guy is actually better than what he is, especially for how much he's getting paid. He's not getting paid a lot of money at all. So he's definitely reliable. He's very solid. He's still good to keep around, even if the young guys we see. I know we'll get to Kevin Joseph later, but with his situation, you want to keep him, and I really do think he's going to make it hard for anybody to take away that number 2 spot in camp.
And Professor, as we're pivoting here, right? And we talked about the big three from last year that are the incumbents this year. We'll pivot to the other guys, and that's a group, right?
Can I talk on Brown real quick? I didn't get.
Oh yeah, you're going. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll be quick with it.
No, you're good.
So,
go ahead.
Much like we just talked about with Diggs and Lewis, we played a lot of man coverage last year, a lot more than what we played in previous years. So the fact that he had by far his best season in terms of consistency as an outside cornerback in a scheme playing a lot of man coverage, I think that bodes well. And you don't need, just like you don't need 5 all-pro offensive linemen, you don't need 2 all-pro or Pro Bowl cornerbacks. So if you have Diggs doing what he does on one side, J. Lou manning the slot and doing a good job, and then Brown being serviceable to good or whatever you want to rank him, you have a pretty dynamic cornerback trio because a lot of teams don't have that. Most teams have one easy weak spot, and we did not have that last year. Despite what fans may think about him from previous years, he was pretty solid last year. And I think where people go wrong with him is kind of the flip of Jordan Lewis, where Lewis has 1 or 2 games a year where he's very, very good and makes a big impact. Brown had 2 bad games last year, and people held it against him the entire season.
Right.
He had 15 good games, and some of those games were
against
really
Antonio
good.
Brown.
Yeah, and some of those were really good, but people just remember those too because it's just the way that fans are. We remember the great things and remember the bad things, and we forget about everything in the middle. And that especially if you're an outside cornerback going against a number 1 or number 2 receiver the entire game. I mean, that says a lot about him. He took a big step forward. So, like you guys all said, just kind of recapping, put on Bowen, Anthony Brown. I like him. I think a lot of fans need to forget about the past and embrace who he is now. And he's a solid starting cornerback in the NFL.
I mean, it's like you mentioned, they watched him in that first game against Antonio Brown, who was playing as a number 2 or maybe even a 3.
Right.
And he definitely got handled, but that's Antonio Brown.
Right.
Like, it's not the typical wide receiver he's going to see, and, it happens.
Steven, that probably was not the right word. I was just using that as a word saying, like, he's a starting caliber cornerback in the NFL.
Yeah,
he's not a guy that you're just stuck with and hoping a young guy takes his job in a year. Like, he was a good cornerback last year.
Is he re-signed? Is he re-signed after this year?
That's kind of hard to answer because we'll talk about the guys coming up next. But
yeah,
I would like to see him come back.
Well, I think it's a big chance just because of who he drafted, who he should have drafted, and who he. Never mind. Anyways.
Well, then we'll pivot because now we're getting to we covered the incumbents and who not a lot of competition here. We kind of feel like these are going to be the guys next year. This is your 3. But then there's a pool of guys here, right? There's a pool of guys in the rookie that we drafted, right? Deron Bland, maybe some safety work, maybe not, right? 22, right? 6 foot, Fresno State. There's the guy we drafted in the second round last year. It could have been Asante Samuel Jr. over there, J-Tuck from Florida State, man.
Yeah, that was my point. Yeah.
But I know. Well, man, I was gonna walk it out. You know me, I'm gonna walk it out. My guy Tuck's here. And look, if y'all missed that draft content that night, we were all hyped and then it happened. We're like, oh shit. But neither here nor there. And obviously Kelvin Joseph, and that's who we got, right? And then of course the Nashon Wrights of the world, and that guy. Then you got the CJ Goodwins. He's it says cornerback, but low key he's special teams. Which, by the way, they're doing all these guys at punt return. Goodwins is a special teams guy. Why don't you let him return punts? We've seen them do trick plays with him returning and doing stuff.
Yeah, he can do that. Yeah.
But neither here nor there. We'll get him up out of here. So I'm gonna spin the wheel. Who's the guy? Let me ask y'all. Who's your guy going to camp of the mixture of the rest? That you're like, okay, I'm watching this person, and I'm gonna go counterclockwise this time. Professor O, who's your guy that you're looking in camp?
Okay, so in camp, I mean, I have to look at Kelvin Joseph. I understand there's likely a suspension coming, but I mean, until that happens, he's a guy we invested a second-round pick in. We have expectations. We have expectations that he could be a good corner. There's things there that make him a unique player. He's a guy that's instinctive. He's a good athlete. when we did see him, which wasn't a lot last year, he was pretty sticky. He looked pretty good out there in the small glimpses we got. So, again, taking the off the field stuff out of the equation because we don't know what's going to happen. We can only hope that from here on he, turn the leaf. Kelvin Joseph is the guy that I'm paying the most attention to because I think he is the guy of the rest of the group that has starting potential where he could be a starter moving forward.
Yeah, good call there. Spoonie, who's the guy you're looking at outside the big three?
I like P.O.'s answer. That was my 1A. My 1B is Deron Bland.
Oh, okay. You admire the rookie a little bit.
And I say him.
What excites you?
Oh well, first of all, his size, his wingspan, is what Dan Quinn loves. For his outside corners, the big guy, he could run. And I tell you this, he's the one guy. We all know Kelvin's situation, but we also know AB's out. Like Puck said, this is last year's deal. Deron Bland, in my opinion, could be the next one in line to take over that spot.
Wow. Okay.
AB and Kelvin. So if any, this is going to be the thing where, like P.O. just said, if Kelvin gets suspended, and let's just say we see what's up with AB, you still got Deron Bland. If Kelvin never got in trouble or whatever, I don't think we're talking about Bland. But that's the guy I'm looking at.
J Tuck. The rest of the bunch here, if you will.
Well, it's funny, guys. We just spoke very highly about Anthony Brown and also Jordan Lewis. Are they 6 foot?
Nah. Oh no.
6 foot.
Anthony might be barely 6 foot, but
he's not.
Jordan Lewis is 5'11" for sure. Jordan Lewis is 5'11".
They're not 6 foot, Mary. Stop it.
Little guys.
I know. No, Jordan Lewis I know isn't 6 foot, but I don't know about.
Jordan Lewis probably like 5'10".
Yeah,
Anthony Brown might be on a good day, but I feel like the point I was trying to make, well, besides that point, because honestly, last night I was watching the Chargers OTAs and they had Asante, he was mic'd up, and they were just raving. He was leading the huddles, leading the charge. I'm just like, this is bull crap. But
yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I feel like as of right now, it's open season. And I said this, like the cornerback 4 is open because you kind of hear what they were kind of rumbling about. I guess Kelvin Joseph have an undisclosed injury, and it's kind of the same cycle. It's always just kind of something around him. And I feel like Deron Bland, he's going to be one of those players that's going to come in hungry, whether it's safety or corner. And I feel like Dan Quinn is really going to gravitate him. But also Isaiah Taylor-Stewart out of USC. I feel like he's going to be a phenomenal talent that if he gets those reps, things could look a little bit different. Now, here's my question is like, we all thought last year, right? 6'2", big length, cover 3, that was going to be our scheme. But it really wasn't. Like Matt O says, like it was more about man coverage, those kind of sticky guys. So I feel like Kelvin Joseph might get the nod over them just because of that ability. I feel like he's better in man coverage. Also over, I know people have mentioned Quadre Mosley out of Kentucky as well. I feel like Kelvin Joseph is the most stickiest man cover guy, but I feel like the intangibles, the effort, and the trust is going to be with one of these other corners. So you definitely got to watch what's going to happen at this position, which I got my eye on. So I would say Bland and Stewart.
Okay. Mary.
Or
what's
Trey.
one of the bunch for you?
Trey.
Free agency.
I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys have put themselves in a very bad situation if one of their starting corners gets injured, because I think Joseph did have a lot of potential. I don't trust him. Like even, I got to be honest. I don't think that he will get suspended. I really don't. And the reason why I don't think so is because most situations where players get suspended, it's where they can prove they actually did something. In his situation, or an allegation against them. In his situation, it was like people have said, okay, yeah, they know he was in the car, but people came forward and said, okay, they did it. And those guys have been arrested and they've, gone through their thing. And he's just kind of been like, okay, chilling. Obviously, Zeke, I know most fans are probably thinking about Zeke, but Zeke is like, it was a direct allegation against him and like multiple conversations and multiple things against him that they didn't like. The same thing with Deshaun Watson. Multiple things against him that they don't like. But with him, it's
and
like
he had one on camera, right? Like there was the one.
Yeah, exactly.
Granted, it was St. Patrick's Day, not a big one, but that also was. We had the rumors and the speculation, and now we have one we can see. So.
Yeah, so it's different with him because it's like.
I mean, but there's literally, but that's a video part.
There's video of him in the
car that shot somebody and died.
And what people also understand though,
there's
a trial too probably going to come up eventually.
Those friends came forward and they said, "Okay, we did it," type thing, and then obviously
there's video of him
none of that.
Okay, go ahead.
Partying, hanging out and partying, and that's it in the area, and with them in the car. Those are the main things, but none of that stuff has come to indictment or trial yet. And NFL is not going to touch anything that hasn't gone to that yet. Like as compared to when Terrence Williams had his issues, even though it was very minor, they waited until that whole legal process was done. He had paid his fines and then he got suspended. And so like they usually wait until it's completely done on the legal side. Usually. The thing with Deshaun Watson is he didn't get indicted at all. So there was no full process. So now they're in the civil process. And it's different. And it's different. So I'm just saying why
you're going against a lawyer, Nick.
I'm just saying why the situations are different. It's not the same
Objection
thing.
hearsay.
So I'm not saying he won't get suspended. I'm saying that if he does, I don't think it'll be in this football season. So if he's capable of playing, I think he will play. That was my whole point. But
he's on camera swinging on him.
I just don't. Oh yeah, he did. No, I saw that part. I saw that part. But none of that is really being investigated, talked about.
And he's back to same old. Just back
I just don't think that. I mean, and like I said, like. I mean, look at the Deshaun Watson thing, how long that's taken. Like, it's going to take a little bit of time. The Terrence Williams thing took like at least a year. He played and then finally he got suspended for a few games. And then it was like, oh, okay.
So, all right. Like, so the guy that's the guy you're hedging your bets on. That's the guy in the pool.
I'm not hedging my bets. But my point is,
Mary.
But no, because my point was, Nix, what I said before.
Order in the court.
Right.
What I said before was that they put themselves in this position, like the guys we have now. If one of them goes down, we are kind of screwed because I don't really believe in any of these guys behind them.
You're not buying none of them.
And he's one of them. That was one of the ones that we could have done right, and we didn't. That's my point.
We could have done right and got Samuel. Yeah, we could have done right for you. No, it's bad. No, it's a huge.
That Micah, Samuel, and Osa. Yeah. My God,
that was my actual point. Yeah. You know, it took a roundabout way because I talk a lot. But let me live, okay?
I'm just saying. Hit your wagon to a horse. If you got to pick one, Mary.
I don't want to.
Okay, fair. All right, fair enough. Mary. I won't force you to pick one. For me personally, I'm gonna walk through the door Nation Wright. I had a chance and opportunity to talk to his mother, and she kind of previewed us during the space and whatnot, and kind of chatted on the back end, messaging wise. Some of the work that he's done and why he's kind of disappeared, unlike a Kelvin Joseph, off of social media and what he's looking to do and whatnot. And I just kind of go back to we talk about the hype of what he had going in rookie camp and OTAs, and then things kind of went a little off kilter in actual training camp and whatnot. Right. But we saw him contribute at times on the field via special teams, whatever the case may be. So I think he walks through the door this year. If I gotta buy a guy in office right now, and Mary, you're not wrong. I don't disagree with you. It's ugly. It's ugly outside the big three. And that's why I kind of said, and I brought up Anthony Brown less, because you lose Brown, what are you doing? You putting Jordan Lewis outside? You're getting a slot guy? You moving two back and forth? Like, what are we going to do there? And it's ugly. So for me, last year I had the tweet as written camp. What was best for business for the Cowboys was for boss man fat for Kelvin Joseph to walk through the door and clinch the number 2 cornerback. It didn't happen. I'll be honest with y'all right now. I'm sorry. I've pivoted my way of thinking when it comes to him. Cool. He's whatever number on the roster. I don't really care. I just don't. Look. I don't know if he's going to get suspended or not. I have no clue. And maybe it is. And Mary, you might be completely 1,000% right. It's next year sometime, whatever. I just don't know. And obviously we had some conversations behind the channel as things were happening. He had he posted on social media after everything got cleared. It wasn't football related. I'm sorry.
No.
Like
he's back.
Yeah,
He's back.
no. Oh yeah, no,
Right.
And I talked to some kind of people in the house, right? And it's just like I heard a story that kind of like broke my heart, where the mother of the victim has come out and like reaching the Cowboys like media, like, why isn't anything being done? Like, so it's like it's hard to get behind something like that, and then you go just kind of acting casual, like, so I don't know, man. It just is what it is, the vibes. But it's just like I'm pulling for Nashawn Wright, I'm pulling for Deron Bland. Someone needs to come and just take that position that I can trust is going to be ready to play football, and I ain't got to deal with all the extra. So that's just where I'm at. So.
See, I'm buying Chuck's other guy, Isaac Taylor Stewart, over Bland. I just don't see Bland making the roster. Like, I'm looking at what he does. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't.
I got you.
The only way I can see him making the roster is if he's beating out Goodwin, because I think he's a special teams player. I don't think he's a legit top 4 cornerback in the NFL. I just don't see it. And I know a lot of people said safety. Who out of the top 5 safeties are you taking over? I'm not taking over.
Whoa, don't do that yet. No, we got safety coming. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. We got safety coming.
Taylor Stewart, there's something there. Like, he, from a size profile, speed profile, athleticism, we saw 2 interceptions and 1 pick six the last 2 days of OTAs. Like, I might buy that one as a down the roster guy to get excited about. Bland, no offense, Spoonie and Tuck, I personally right now I don't believe in him at all.
I was gonna pick Stewart for my second guy, but I only pick one, so I picked Bland.
No. You said Kelvin was your one. You can't throw a third one out there now.
The vibe, Spoon.
I'm saying I want to pick one.
I will say this: the one thing that we didn't mention as everything's happening, within this secondary, and not to go too far into where you're about to take us there. But I do want to acknowledge, as you were talking about the safety a little bit, the big nickel matters a lot in how they can do things and shift these cornerbacks, right? As we're talking about the big 3 and what's behind them, but within that, and we'll definitely circle back and cover this as we get to safeties. The big nickel and what they present and what they're able to do. There's some shell game things you can do there with my injury was to happen, but we'll cover that later. Little teasers they call it in the industry. Make sure you come back when we do the safety talk. And we'll get into that. Last word on the cornerbacks, because then we are going to bring back, if y'all missed it last week, our newest segment on the show is the I Object with the one and only Margarita Mary. And if you missed it last week, go ahead. Or if you were here last week, how about that? If you were here last week, y'all know the hashtag already. Y'all know what it is.
Don't talk it. Hashtag DTI.
Yeah, hashtag DTI. Hashtag, let it hang. Throw it out there. So before we go there, Steve getting called out, Spoonie. So hedging the best a little bit there, Spoon. That you a little backpedal. We're talking quarterback. Were you backpedaling? Little backpedal there from Spoon, but neither here nor there. So, Bo on the cornerback position as we broke it down going into camp. I think I'll ask the question here, and we'll get out and we'll pivot. Do you feel better or worse heading into camp this year at cornerback? Just simple. If you want to talk about it, by all means, you can break it down. I'm going to go counterclockwise this time, and however you want to break it down. Professor, you feel better or worse about the cornerback position going into camp this year?
Yeah, I can get long-winded, so I'm going to be quick on it. I feel better, and I'm not nearly as bleak on the cornerback group after the top 3 as a lot of you guys seem to be. And the reason for that is one of those guys we think with maturity can potentially be a starter. And if you look at most teams, cornerback 4, 5, 6, 7, heading into training camp, they're not strong. Like, that's why these guys are what they are. They're special teams guys that you hope can fill in a pinch. And one of our guys we hope can fill in a pinch, we think has the tools to be a starter. A lot of teams don't have that at cornerback 4. And we have Wright that we think could potentially be something in the NFL as cornerback 4, 5. Like, we have 2 guys I feel pretty good about in the event of an injury. Are they starting caliber cornerbacks right now? I don't know. But in terms of being cornerback 4 and 5, I think they're some of the best in the league. I don't think you'll find a lot of 4 and 5 guys better than those two. So overall, I feel better.
Okay, Spoonie, better or better than last year, worse than last year? How you feel?
Oh, way better than last year. You know, when you got guys on his deep, well, first of all, under Dan Quinn, you know, the experience is going to be there. Like P.O. just said, the maturity. And when you have a defensive back coach like Al Harris, who's coaching these guys up, I definitely feel great about it. We've seen, again, we talked about Anthony Brown earlier, from him not being in the right position. And as soon as Dan Quinn came by, look what happened. We've seen Diggs from year 1 from year 2, like Mary said earlier, going from Nolan to Dan Quinn. Look how Diggs transformed. So another year under Dan Quinn with the same coaching staff, in my opinion, I think they're going to elevate every play. And like P.O. said, there will be another guy that we can add into the fourth guy. Will be added in there. We're going to see some good things out of that. So I feel very good about it.
Okay. J Tug, better or worse heading into camp here at the quarterback position?
Yeah, I feel much better because you think about where were we last year in the draft, right? Why we couldn't draft a tight end, right? Because we need a corner. We need a corner. Well, come to find out, Anthony Brown stepped up and we did not need a second corner, right? And so I feel like he was able to step up, J. Lou as well. And then you do have Kelvin Joseph is whatever, you know, as your fourth corner, him and Nashawn Wright kind of battling out for that position. And then you add some of these young rookies. I feel like the depth is there. Now, if something was to happen to one of our core guys, I might feel a little bit differently. But as of right now, I feel good about our cornerback position.
Yeah. Mary, are you feeling better or worse?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone remembers, but last time around this year, one thing I talked about was we are all hoping and expecting Trayvon Diggs to progress, but what if he regresses? And he didn't. He didn't regress. He you know, he was amazing, you know, as far as getting interceptions. And said, I feel like he fueled the rest of the DBs. So I feel much better about that. I feel much better about our coach, Dan Quinn. So yeah, I mean, even though I feel like I'm not happy about some of the people behind our core starters, I am very happy about who our core starters are right now.
Yeah, Reaper. Yeah, actually, we can see the future because if you go all the way back to us in the last preseason or whenever they didn't touch his contract, they touched Zeke's. We all got on here live. Was like, oh, that's interesting. That's going to be a problem.
It wouldn't be surprising. Yeah,
right.
And
we did say it wouldn't be surprising if they traded Cooper. Yeah, we did say that.
We didn't want it to happen, but we
did
say
that. But we
talked about the money.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Did they had the out to get the money back and then move on? So actually, in that
spoiler alert, Michael Gallup, you know, Gallup coming up soon.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Big facts.
We did.
For me at the cornerback position, better or worse?
And we saw TJ Vasher coming too.
Yeah. Right. Hey, some of us saw Pitts setting some 1,000 yards and won some stakes off of that, but that's either here or there.
Number 4 ranked tight end as well already.
Ooh, you being shady.
I'm just saying.
Some of us said J-Ron Curse was a good signing. I mean,
yeah. Now,
Jalen Tolbert.
DJ wants some potato.
But with that being said, though, obviously I have to feel better currently about the cornerback position because of the big three and what they're being in. And again, we talked about it before throughout this. Brown being in the second year, being outside, being solid with the coaching staff, right? Diggs walking through that door year 3, and then pivoting even into Jordan Lewis and what he's able to do at the slot position. The problem for me is this depth is ass. Sorry.
Yes.
This depth is super ass. And again, in this front office lane, it didn't have to be. You literally had it on the board. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm still not over it. I'm not. And I'm going to beat a dead horse. I am. You could have had Samuel Jr. and you took Kelvin Joseph. I'm sorry. It's a huge swing and a miss. And it can't be overstated. I'm sorry. And it makes me feel some type of way about it because if that happens, it's not a problem. Go ahead.
Yeah.
He was.
Well, they're trying to act like it's not a problem.
Oh my God! Say it again. With the Derwin James, the Joey Bosa's, those guys.
He was the vocal. I'll send y'all the link.
No. I want you to say it for the people in the back.
He was the vocal leader of the defense. He was mic'd up, leading everyone, and that's where I kind of found out about the situation that happened with Kelvin Joseph, because Asante goes live on Instagram showing all of his workouts, all football related, talking to Chargers fans. So I was like, let me go see what Kelvin Joseph is doing. His Instagram was deleted. And I was like, why would he delete Instagram? He loves Instagram. And then hear everything. So it's frustrating.
Look, you gotta chill out with your sneaky link in these Chargers. I'm just be honest with you. You got to chill out with your sneaky link over there.
Yeah, see, you be cheating on us.
He's a little peek. It's a little peek, you know.
Yeah. Oh, he out here sneaky linking. I know what you're doing over there.
I tell you what, we got 23, man. Them Chargers are cranked up over there. Like, man,
he's like looking at the jerseys, looking at the uniforms. I'm like,
go ahead, hold on. Go ahead, though.
I just want to press you a little bit, though. So you say outside of the top 3 is asked. How many other teams in the league do you think are better from cornerback 4 through 7 than us? Like, I think that's a valid question.
I got you. That's fair. No, and that's fair. I'm not saying that it's not fair. What I'm saying is the Cowboys have consistently had opportunities to be better than they are, and they chose not to. Is what I'm saying.
That's
so
my
what
point.
I mean, right? So what I'm saying about being asked, it's not even look. I'll pivot away from being the dead horse on Asante Samuel Jr. I'll pivot away from that. They've done nothing in free agency to be better. I know, J-Tech, I don't want to, but I will. But like, you haven't really, like, we think about the guys that are behind them, and we kind of see in the chat a little bit, well, how many games they played. Like, look at them. Who's played games?
Right. And even last year, Maurice Kennedy was solid in camp.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And I think that's my point when I say ass is like, we understand it's hard to be deep in these positions, right? And it kind of goes back to the Anthony Brown standpoint of, look, we can't have an all-pro and a Diggs at every cornerback position. Hence why I'm like, yo, Anthony Brown, for what he's making and what he's doing is very solid. But when we get behind the big 3, it's like, yo, who's your slot? Look, and we talked about Anthony Brown earlier. If Jordan Lewis goes down, who's your slot right now?
They have Brown as his backup, but Brown is supposed to be starting on the left.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the reality is you probably have. Yeah, you're probably moving Brown into the slot and having Wright or Kelvin, whoever you like better, outside, which is still scary because, like you guys all mentioned, we haven't seen them out there. I just don't know that there's a lot of teams that have a ton of depth and starting experience outside of the top 3. So although it's easy to say none of them have played, I think that's probably the case for a lot of teams.
I mean, look, and we can crunch the numbers because you could be absolutely correct, but I do feel like there are teams that are more seasoned, if you will, after their big 3.
Yeah, or at least have tried. And I feel like we haven't, we are not seasoned, and we have not tried to be seasoned at all.
And I do like this from Reaper. We're going to get into that because we talked about this a little bit about the big, the big nickel and things they can do. So there's some things we can do within that. But in general, I'm just saying they just haven't done enough.
In all fairness, the KJ, though, I feel like if we had to toss him out there, he'll be perfectly fine. Because he's one of those people, like, if you ever play sports, that can eat hot dogs and just go out there and just play football.
Like David Irving. Like David Irving.
Yeah. So if we had to break in case of emergency, I feel like KJ be perfectly fine. But it's just
fair
up here. How long will that last?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Everybody get your drinks ready. I don't know where. The first ever segment of this, we saw how it went. We're going to throw it up here now. We're going to see how it goes here. So Mary, and actually, let me just go and get to the solo as I ask this question, and that way I'm gonna get ready, so I ain't got to stay ready, right? I'm just gonna get ready here. All right, Mary.
Yeah.
The question for you as a resident lawyer tonight is: we're going to pivot to a different position, right? And we're going to pivot to a position we haven't covered yet, right? We're going to pivot, right? We're going to talk about linebacker for just a second. I'm going to see where you're at. And within the linebacker construct, there's a guy who we didn't pick up the 5th-year option on, but we brought him back on a reasonable deal. Often injured, has showed things, played solidly last year to a certain extent, showed for a couple good games, didn't leave. Leighton Vander Esch, Mr. LVE. If y'all have not watched Jack Reacher on, I think it's Amazon Prime Video, I think he's over there acting. I don't know. They look very similar. Right. They're kind of 6'5", I don't know what's going on. So with that being said, does as they're currently constituted, does the linebacker core this year hinge on LVE being good? Do you agree or do you object?
So I agree with your statement there. It does hinge on him. And I object to the fact that the Cowboys did not try to get anyone in free agency to play linebacker. Our whole linebacking crew has been on IR.
Okay.
Like they're constantly not available, including him. They are not experienced. I mean, he's the only one. I mean, unless you're counting Micah. Micah has been great, but we all know that Micah moves around and he does his own. Like we all know what he does. He's excluded. I'm excluding him from this group. Okay.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
So yes, I am to. Well, I agree that everything hinges on him.
Yes.
Because we need him to be better. We need him to be what we drafted him to be. 19th pick, linebacker, boss. But I object to them not signing anybody else. That was something. I mean, you've been pounding the table to it for a long time.
Yeah, sure. So,
and what happened was he had a good year. Jalen Smith had his thing going, and we thought they were a pack together. We thought he was like the wolf hunter, but he hasn't been hunting well in a while. And now we really need him. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option. Now we need him to let it hang. We need him to let it hang this year. If he doesn't, then
So you agree? You're not objecting. You agree, actually, that the linebacker room currently constituted kind of hinges on LVE.
Yes,
correct?
It does. But I object to them not signing anybody.
You object to the front office not signing. Yeah. So what do you need from LVE since you know it's on him this year?
I need everything. I need him to stay healthy. I need him to...
Simply, it's very simple for you. I don't know why you're trying to fight.
I know, but let me just get it out, Nick. Dang it. I'm getting there.
Okay.
First off, I need you to let me be great. I object to you trying to tell me what to do, okay? That's one thing I object to.
There we go. Let Mary cook.
Mary, so this is my closing arguments to the jury. I need you to let me cook. Let me develop my case.
I feel like Russ right now. I feel like Russell Wilson. Anyway.
Let her cook.
Yes. I'm agreeing with you. And I also agree he needs to let it hang. It's his time to boom. It's effectively another contract year. So do what you need to do and put it all out there. Let it hang. Are you happy now?
I am not entertained. I'm not entertained at all. Mary, you've been very long-winded tanight. You've been definitely. Here's how I know you're back. Look, I know you're definitely back at work because you have talked like a lawyer tonight. You have been putting in that work. I respect it though. I respect it.
They are stressing me out over there.
They are. That's all right. But moves are being made. The moves are being
vacation.
made.
You said PTO.
No, it's too soon. It's too soon.
I worked here 6 days. I think I've accrued some time off.
I'm back 3 days. I think I deserve some time off.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Bless the game up. So yeah, LV, and obviously we're gonna cover that, as we get into some of this linebacker talk and whatnot. It's very intriguing that way too. A lot of these things, which I had a conversation with a guy last week, and he made a good point. The Cowboys seem very top heavy. Boy, it gets thin kind of quick.
It gets very thin,
it gets thin very quick. With that being said, man, we've been rocking for 2 hours. We want to pivot up out of this thing. We appreciate.
Can I give you guys something real quick before we get off?
I was gonna give Mary a chance to speak. I'm gonna let everybody cook because I'm before Mary cooks me.
Yeah, Mary's cooking. So I pulled up a few teams just to take a look at our cornerback 4 through 8 or whatever you want to rank it, just to kind of get a feel. So far, not a big sample size, but I'm just gonna throw some names out there. So looking at the Eagles, their cornerbacks outside of their top 3, they have Zach McPherson, Jimmy Moreland, Tay Gowan, Craig James, Kerry Vincent Jr., and Josiah Scott. Would you trade that for what the Cowboys have?
The entirety or just the backups?
The back three?
Yeah, the backups. The backups
yes.
outside of the top
yes,
three. That's what they have.
I'm trading it right now.
You would take that? Okay. Interesting. All right, we're gonna look at the next team. We're gonna look at the Giants. They have
I can roll
Mikel
it up and
Jaquette,
look better.
Mo Kennedy, Rodarius Williams, Zion Gilbert, Cordell Flott, Khalil Dorsey. Anything exciting there?
Nah, I'm good. Kennedy. But
Commanders. Commanders, we have Christian Holmes, Nigel Hill, Josh Strayton, Devin Taylor, Danny Johnson, Corn Elder.
That's pretty solid, but I'll pass.
All right, so we'll go to the Rams, Super Bowl winners. They have Robert Rochelle, Grant Haley, Darian Kendrick, go Dogs, Tyler Hall, Jacoby Durant, and Rush East.
Right.
San Francisco 49ers, Yamador Lenore, Jason Verrett, that's one vet right there. Ambry Thomas, Tariq Castro Fields, Samuel Womack, and Dante Johnson. Kind of the point of it is there's not a lot of teams that have, much there aside from like young promising guys.
If you people from the name stuff, I would like to see snaps and starts in the NFL of those guys, and I think that matters to a certain extent. But I get
pretty much out of that whole list, though. Out of the whole list, Jason Verrett's the only guy that has NFL starting experience or significant experience. Everybody else is kind of.
Yeah. I mean, Ambry Thomas was a rookie last year, but he was. But Ambry Thomas, who I kind of followed, was on the field last year though, and he got some snaps for sure. But I got you. I'm tracking. I'm tracking.
I mean, I don't know exact numbers, but I do like D lines are better with Rams and San Francisco.
One team that jumped out that was impressive was the Bengals' depth was actually pretty solid.
Right.
They have Dax Hill as cornerback 4 right now, and I was all about him. They have Cam Taylor Britt, second-round pick. So they actually have some pretty – and Trey Flowers. I'd say the Bengals are the only team that I was like, wow, yeah, I would absolutely trade what they have versus what we have. But everybody else, I'm like, that's a push at best.
Right.
But I only looked at 16
Also,
so far,
too, I do feel like – I mean, I'd have to go back through, but I do feel like Brown and Lewis often miss at least a few games. So I'd like to see how often some of those other starters miss games too.
10-4. Yeah, definitely. Again, we don't expect maybe, as we kind of talk throughout these things, these turnovers, maybe not the same amount of interceptions, but maybe a little bit better coverage in the things that don't show up on the stat sheet to make the rest of the defense better. I think that's really kind of the over context of what we kind of talked about in general from the secondary cornerback wise, the top 3 and moving forward, which is exciting. Again, if this defense gets better overall, but the turnovers drop, it's still a win in that book. We'll see what's happening on that front. With that being said, man, we appreciate everybody rocking with us. Everybody, it's been fun as always. We appreciate our guy J Tuck coming through. J Tuck, who's finally back from parts unknown. What do you got on deck? I mean, first and foremost, if they don't know who you are, tell them where they can find you. And then, of course, number 2, what you got on deck?
Yeah, you guys can find me on all social media platforms at jtuck151, and also my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. CFO Sports. What I got coming up, man, is getting ready for camp. So, I'm starting to do a lot of film breakdown, and a lot of people are asking, like, Tuck, why? It's like I just want to kind of just see, what players did last year, compare, contrast to what we have going to camp. So it's time to work. It's time to grind. We really can't complain about it anymore, man. This thing's about to take off here in a few days. So, get ready for camp. I have a lot of belief in this team, not the organization. I think a lot of people need to understand that. I believe in the players. But to wrap it up, when it comes to cornerback position, I feel comfortable if Kelvin Joseph can get his act together. I feel like that's going to be a huge value add for us, but that's a huge if as well. So I feel good about the cornerbacks, and I feel like Diggs is going to take off and still be that guy, and we won't have to debate these stupid topics anymore when it comes to Trayvon.
Hey, that part. What we learned tonight is hashtag let Mary cook. Next shirt on deck.
Hashtag let her live.
Let her live. Mary's going to honey roast. Once we turn this camera, Mary's probably going to honey roast me. I'm sorry, but hey, it is what it is.
Oh, and before we go, also I want everyone to have a safe 4th of July weekend. Everyone will be safe and smart.
Yes,
so
yes.
Big facts. Well, and before we're back on there, although we got the Freestyle Friday, we did the Freestyle Friday.
Oh yeah.
So,
I'm so mixed around. I don't know what day it is.
No, you good? Yeah, that's fine. Freestyle Friday, but of course, I got our producer extraordinaire, producer Jay. 24th is Saturday, so shout out to producer Jay at the birthday, the big 2-4 in the building. Yeah, 2-4. But that being said, though, man, obviously Friday, you already know the business. We have the Cowboys Happy Hour space. We pivoted into a more interactive side on here with the chat and everything with the Freestyle Friday shows. We've done 2 this week, episode 3. It's going to be a fun time and enjoy that. It's going to be fun now. I'm telling you, once the season starts, depending on what happens in the season, we might look at each other like, this Freestyle Friday, never mind.
Right.
We just might like, oh shit, it's bad. We lost 2 games. Let's not do. You know what? Let's play some Elden Ring. Let's just suffer that way.
Yeah.
Right.
It's fair enough.
Yeah. Exactly. So, last shot here, Professor O. Obviously, you got some work over there. I know you're about to crank up on the writing side too. Obviously, pivot that and let people know.
Yeah. So you can find me here at Pick 6. Really excited about this season. 4 episodes in, not including our Freestyle Fridays. I feel like our content has risen to the next level, just like the Cowboys team hopefully rises to the next level. I'm going to start the articles up. My next topic I am actually just started on tonight is going to be a Dalton Schultz article. So I'm just kind of looking at him from an advanced stats, not just the basic receptions, things like that. How does he compare in terms of EPA, toxicity, all that stuff? Compared to the peers, maybe he is worthy of a contract. We'll see. But I just want to get a baseline where he's at now through 2 years, the last 2 seasons compared to his peers. So working on that. And also shout out to those Atlanta Hawks. I didn't know we were going to do it. Is. I was just waiting, like, please make a move. And we got DeJounte Murray, an all-star. In my lifetime, he's the only player, my entire lifetime, the only player that the Atlanta Hawks have traded for coming off of an all-star season. This is the first time in my entire life. So now we have him in the backcourt with Trey.
Feels good, doesn't it? I mean, it feels good.
Amazing. It feels amazing.
A team pressing to win, right?
And not only that, our team owner said, we're not done yet.
But
as a Cowboys fan, if we made one major move, I'd be like, done, Super Bowl, let's go. As a Hawks fan, I'm like,
we lowered our expectations in offseason with the Cowboys fans. We asking for like little. Can we get a little?
And our owner said, F them draft picks. F them draft picks. 3 first-round picks to make this happen. Let's do it. So yeah, go Hawks.
Yeah, one day we'll do that in Cowboys land. Hey Spoonie, where can they find you, man?
You can find me here, Spoonie881 on Twitter. You can find me here right at home at Pick 6 Sports. Sometimes you can find me at Space with DJ Nick and the gang right here. And I'm just super excited for the season. There's going to be a lot of questions that's going to be answered. It's going to be a lot of disappointment from the rivalry, the Eagles, Washington football team, and the New York Giants. And
the all-star team Eagles. All-star team Eagles.
The all-star team,
Yes.
Yeah, the super team.
They're already champs.
I have some sermons for you guys. I'm saving up, and I can't wait to dish them out because
let's go ahead and let people know the Spoonie sermons return on our last show previous to training camp. So our last show
training camp. Perfect.
Before training camp, we get to unleash season 4 Spoonie sermons. I can't wait. I can't wait. For training camp,
tell you this right now, it's going to be so much fun.
There's going to be an offering bucket passed around. We're going to have a choir in the background. Spotlights on him.
Yeah, you already know. Like he said, in a pulpit near you, Rev Spoonie. It's going to be great. Again, the week before camp, our last show before camp, Spoonie's going to come deliver the 22 season sermon to kick this thing off. I can't wait. And last but not least, the one and only Stargate Beauty, the one and only Margarita Mary, the one and only, hey, I was homeless and jobless last week, but now dadgummit, I got a job. Hashtag Don't tuck it. Hashtag let it hang. And I learned tonight, hashtag let Mary cook. By all means,
Right.
ma'am.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, at Stargang Beauty on Twitter, Facebook, Mariella Bowers, Stargang page, like and subscribe on YouTube and Facebook. And thank you guys for coming, everybody new. And excuse my language. I've been trying to be better, but it's not working yet. So I'm sorry, guys.
Last week and this week, back up again, though. Last week and this week, language-wise, you're good again. Although, Professor O, we got to get her to change that SG beauty to pick 6 beauty, perhaps.
Yeah, we do.
I don't know. We'll see.
Not
I
yet?
feel
Okay. We'll wait.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see.
It
We'll wait
fits
and
me.
see.
Wow.
Hey, as always, y'all know the business is Friday. Come in, tune in, rock with us on the spaces and everything. Make sure I got Jay Tuck delivering the heat and everything that he does. He's back, and look, when he's back, he's about to get it cranking. It is what it is. He got that good refresh, that good decompress. I already know. Look, I've been watching you on Twitter. You've been busy. Hella busy on Twitter all of a sudden.
With the blogging the boys, man. My guy Tom wrote an article over some tweets, man. So yeah, it's time to get things shaking, man. Like I said, I'm rested and ready to go. So
Tuck, we gonna get those 4 a.m. workout videos? Not the workout, but the post-workout moment of reflection about the Cowboys.
I mean, a lot of people like those. I mean, I need to start
like them
doing
too.
them. I'm in the gym. It's just like I got so used to like getting ready and getting up. Like I get in the gym, I'm getting out. But yeah, I can do them, man. I'll do them. So
run it back.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm gonna start getting y'all. I'm gonna meet y'all tomorrow, man.
Yeah, 10-4. Hey, with that being said, man, once again, make sure you hit the subs, make sure you hit the follows and everything else. Man, we're cranking up, back and better than ever. You're going to see everything here, everybody on this panel do things great on their page and Twitter and whatnot. If you're not following us on Twitter, hey, it gets hectic to go over there, and it's a lot of fun. So I implore you to go check us out on Twitter as well if you're not following us already. We'll see you on Friday, obviously.
And if you do, let me know it's y'all from the chat, because if I fire off on you guys, I don't mean like, who the hell is you? You know, when it rains, people get wet. Stay dry. You know what I'm
Gotta keep in mind, too, like, we
yeah.
let you guys know tonight, I'm close friends with Rowdy. I can get rowdy on you guys if I need
you
to
go.
call my boy. He's behind me at any moment's notice.
You don't want the smoke with Rowdy. You don't want the smoke. It might be 26 years of bad luck, neither here nor there.
Yes.
We'll leave it at that. We'll catch y'all Friday. Y'all be safe. Peace.